Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, here from wherever you are joining this show. Welcome to Afrique 24-hour TV, and this is our open political talk, a show that comes on your screen every day from 10 p.m. up to midnight. Apologies for starting it late. It is due to unavoidable circumstances. Welcome on board, and if you're joining me for the first time, kindly ensure that you start by subscribing to our YouTube channel. So how do you do this? Just go to YouTube channel and type Afrique 24. Then you'll be able to see our beautiful logo there. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that wherever you are, whenever we are live, wherever you are, you'll always get notified. Hello and welcome. I can see Goodyear has already taken his seat and is ready to partake in this conversation. So for the ones who are joining me now, ensure if you've joined, start by liking the video and sharing with friends and neighbors, and of course your relatives, so that they can also be able to partake in this. So the week is coming to an end. We are now winding up Sunday. A lot has been happening in this country, starting with some healing crusades that were sponsored by the government. That is when we saw pastor, I don't know if he's a pastor or bishop, Ben Hinn, coming to this country for a healing service. And we are told, because this one happened when uh, Korea got independent 60 years later, and it is because of the prayers they are where they are. So let us wait and see if this one is going to happen in Kenya. Of course, I'll play the first video that will enable me to set the pace for the discussion of today. So I'll play the video of none other than the governor of Trans Nzoia, Natembeya. So watch this.
Mambo ya kuambia sisi and blessed are the poor for they shall see the kingdom of God. Sisi tumekataa. We have refused. Tumesema tunataka kuona ufalme wa mbinguni, lakini hii ufalme ya dunia lazima tuione pia. Hapa wakati unakufa hata hakuna, na bishop mwenye anaongea hapa at the poor ako na gari anaendesha Mercedes Benz. So mambo ya glorify poverty tumefanya nini? And boss, mimi nikiongea hivi kuna viongozi wengine sasa walali. Wanafikira tunataka kuja kuchukua uongozi yao. Mimi na focus kwa watu ya Trans Nzoia. Lakini mtu akileta mdomo mingi Trans Nzoia pia tutaenda huko kwao. Ama namna gani? Kuna wengine wamesahau Mungu huko Bungoma. Wako na Yesu huko. Hadi wako na Yesu bwana, wako na Yesu ya Tongareni huko. Hadi pia wako na Pope. Hadi wako na Papa ya Roma huko. Watu wanafanya watu wa Luya tunakuwa watu wa brand of jokes everywhere. Hata ukienda mimi ndio Nairobi kule, wakizia natoka weza ndio habari ya Yesu ya Tongareni. We just become like all jokers. And they are happy kufanya hizo vitu. Hao ndio viongozi ambao tuko nao. Viongozi ambao maisha yao yote hajawahi kusaka.
And we're back in third quarter planning. Adams is quarterbacking this project, and she is looking pretty tired.
Face anything for anybody. Viongozi ambao wanatuaje, niwaambie watu wetu, hii freedom ambayo watu wanaona watu wanaongea hivi. Kuna mtu ambaye alisimama akaambia Moi was larger than life. Moi alikuwa kila mahali. Moi alikuwa ameweka intelligence kwa manyumba za watu. Unaishi na bibi kumbe anafanya na intelligence. Unaongea tu maneno na bibi, ikifika asubuhi askari wamekufikia. Ala mama anakuambia unajua mzata hii ukuta iko na masikio. Na kumbe masikio ni yeye. Lakini kuna watu waliambia mzee Moi, enough is enough, we want our freedom, lazima tuongee, si ndio? Sasa ati mimi nikisema Papa ya Roma ameingiza watu yetu kwa mtambo, kwa umaskini, iko watu wanakuja waniambia kwamba nisiongee. Wale hawa jamaa kama wangekuwa kina Muliro wakati huo, sisi tungepata independence kweli? Hawa jamaa wangeambia mzungu aende kweli? Hawa kina Chikati wangekuwa napigwa kiboko na mzungu, alafu anaambia mzungu hiyo kiboko iko sawa sawa, ongeza ingine. Yaani unaogopa mtu mpaka unatetemeka tu. Sisi tumesema mambo ya ugandamiza watu wetu ili wa worship na tembe hiyo imekwisha. Nataka mkuwe na pesa. Hata ukitembea hapa town ukikanyaga nyanya ya mtu mnamalizania hapo. Hawa mama wanyanya mnaona wanaimba hapa. Enda kanyaga nyanya yake hapa za town uone. Mtafikishana kwa polisi. Sisi hatutaki aibu. Ndio mnaona hii mambo ni ya kuweka pesa kwa mifuko. Sitaki kijana wewe uko na bibi, hapo na mzigo, unaona mama, mambo yanaendelea tu, inakuwa kubwa. Wakati mama anakuambia sasa mambo yameharibika usiku, unaanza kupigia na tembea simu hadi mama, sasa mambo yamekuwa mbaya. Tafuta gari ya kupeleka hospitali. Mama anaenda kujifungua, kutoka hospitali unasema una pesa, una bill ya kulipia mama. Amekuzalia mtoto mwenyewe umezalisha. Unataka wanaume wengine wakuchangie mtoe mama kule, ni kama ukuchangie kuweka mtoto huko. Aibu ya umaskini ndio hiyo.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think you just heard that is Natembeya deconstructing Papa Roma and Musalia Mudavadi. So we are going to look at that conversation. There is something that is happening in the Western politics as members of UDA are trying to call for unity of Mulembe House. You'll find that this thing is not happening. Earlier on, when the gentleman, the Secretary General for UDA, that is Cleophas Malala, was by the SG, his promise was to unite all the politicians in Western Kenya in UDA. That did not happen. UDA all called for some grassroots elections, something that was supposed to happen sometime last year in December. It didn't happen. It kept on being postponed. And it seems it is not happening soon. So what we're seeing right now, there is a war. There is a battle of who is who, or who is the kingpin, or who is going to be who in the Western Kenya. That is Natembeya. You've heard him talking. So I don't know what is going to happen in Western Kenya. We are going to look at that shortly. Somebody is also telling me that I should not talk of Benny Hinn, but of course we'll have to talk of Benny Hinn and the aftermath of his crusade. Yes, we had a crusade. The crusade was state-sponsored. State-sponsored simply means it is the government that paid all the bills. It is the government that facilitated everything. And the theme of the crusade was healing the nation. So the crusade that took place from Saturday to today, Sunday, was deemed healing the nation. So Benny Hill came to heal the nation. And today, this crusade was crowned when the president attended it. So I'll just play for you a video shortly. Then from that, we'll be able to talk about it.
Kwa Kristo, Bwana Yesu asifiwe. God is good and all the time. Tuimbe wimbo gani? Ati mmesema Bwana hu sehemu yangu. Aya. Bwana hu sehemu yangu. Yangu wewe katika safari yangu twatembea na wewe pamoja na wewe pamoja na wewe katika safari yangu na wewe mali hapa sikutaka niheshimiwe jana ni kutema shaka sawa sawa na wewe pamoja na wewe pamoja na wewe katika safari yangu tatembea na wewe. Asanteni sana mnaweza.
I think you've heard that. It also happened. That is what happened at Nyayo National Stadium. And this is when the president himself decided to attend. He personally decided to attend the crusade. And I've told you, this is a crusade that was sponsored by the state. Yeah, it was facilitated by the taxpayers' money. So, of course, we're also going to look at the implications of this crusade. Was it worth? How have Kenyans benefited from it? So many people attended, including our very own pastors, our very own preachers. If you attended yesterday, you might have managed to see our commander, that is Pastor Nganga was there, Reverend Nganga was there, sorry, Bishop Margaret Wanjiru. We saw several religious leaders were present in this event. And apart from that, I know there's something that somebody is waiting for. It's something that we've seen on our screens there. I'm talking of Simba Arati. Apart from talking of Simba Arati, I'm also talking of something that is happening in central Kenya. Something that we are going to look at. There's something that is happening in central Kenya. I know you people have been aware of what is taking place in central Kenya. There is some rebellion. There is some rebellion that is growing over there. And recently, you saw the leader of majority, Kimani Ichungwa, having to cut short his speech and run for his life. When I say run for his life, he didn't do it physically or literally, but he had to cut off his speech when he started talking of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta, blaming the previous regime. Then people told him, you know, these guys decided to continue with they decided to continue from where the Suba MP Milio Diambo stopped. You know, there's a time that Milio Diambo told Kimani Ichungwa to stop his obsession. He's so obsessed with the Uhuru Kenyatta. So the people of Kiambu told him, no. Don't mention Uhuru. So I'll play for you that video. And after that, we're also going to look at, does it mean that the mountain have started facing, or they've started bending towards Uhuru Kenyatta? Does it mean that they've started regretting some of the mistakes they made? Does it mean that they've started seeing that maybe Uhuru was their leader and they don't need to hate him that much? So we are going to look at this, because that is why we are having this talk, so that we can be able to look at some of the political happenings, weigh on them, give our opinion, and say something about them. So if you're joining me and you wish to join the studio, I've shared the link on the comment section. You can use the link to join the studio so that you can be part of this conversation. Alternatively, you can also let me know how you're feeling. You can let me know where you are and where you are joining us from through the comment section. And also do remember to like the video and share with your friends and relatives. Goodyear is telling me that should have not been paid by the taxpayers. Yes, our very own First Lady went to Korea with a group of intercessors and worshippers, and they realized that Korea have grown simply because of prayers. So they also had to invite a pastor. Okay, you get it? We are coming to that conversation. Right now, I just want you to look at this. Look at that.
na sisi kama viongozi wa Kiambu. Juzi wakati tulikuwa Lari, tuliwaambia mikutano ya rais. Nataka niwatangazie hapa President William Ruto na
Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, that is how it was in Kiambu over the weekend. I don't know what happened. I don't know what triggered these guys, but what is happening? There is something that is cooking. There's some sort of rebellion. People are trying to change a direction. People are trying to change the way they are thinking. And maybe some people, I don't know if I will be right if I say some people are waking up that they can currently face the politicians and tell them that, you know, what you're telling us now is something that was used for campaign. And now it is time to work. If you heard some youth shouting there, Yoni Mamboya campaign. So the voters or the residents of Kiambu have realized that there are some words that are used during campaign. Then after campaign, these words are no longer being used. Should we call that one awakening, that our voters are now waking up and they are now realizing how to separate the difference between campaign and reality? It seems reality have made people in Kiambu to realize that, okay, there are some words that are only used during campaign. Another story that you're also going to look at, this is something that we've been talking of. There's some war that started a long time ago. I'll just give you a short clip. There've been some war between the governor Kisii, that is Simba Arati, and the majority whip, Silvana Sasoro. So it seems this war is not ending today. I'll just tell you where it started, and we'll proceed with that. And we don't know who is going to win, but this is how it started. This is how it all started. I'll just show you how it all started. It's not that one. I'll just show you how it all started. So it seems this war is not ending today, because each and every time something has to happen in this area. These two gentlemen, I don't know who is going to blink first. I don't know who is going to accept.
Nataka kusema hii biashara
Oh, that is what happened some time back. That is what happened. And of course, that is when these guys, for the first time, showed their differences in public. And this thing has been going each and every time they meet. It has always been chaos. It has always been chaos. Like, let me show you. There's one that happened last month. It's always been chaos. And for those people who maybe come from those region, they might be able, or they might be at a position to tell us what has always been happening between Osoro and Arati, and what or why are they fighting each other.
ebintu bibere abantu bamentu boikangaga toiwana ina mwanya korora no ene serikali ya etete ye kolete basariga Ngobono mbume nakora gochaga. Mbume nakorere gocha mu birango. Mu wanja bara tusikane. Mu wanja pi. Ekiagera omwemsi nabwate gasi yae. Omujumba gatwale gasi yae. Omuseneta gatwale gasi yae. Omo women rap gatwale gasi yae. No mo governor atwale endoke. Gasi yae. Jaboyo. Bono tiganda abole. Abana tiakominyokane yao. Apana fujo mugane tese egiewega. Ngoro.
Soro.
Aye, dakara doramizo, oteria, mwaka miliza, oteria.
Sorry for that. Goodyear is telling me to translate. How I wish I was in a position to translate. I would have done that. But what happened at that point is that in this case, the governor was giving some bursaries, and in the process, the South Migirango MP arrived, and it was so chaotic. It was so chaotic, we've just seen. But what is happening? What is most important is that we need to know that these guys have been fighting. So maybe when you see them fighting, it is not at an individual level, but it is a political. I think Osoro is also interested in becoming the next governor of Kisii. And what maybe makes Osoro bitter is that, Simba Arati was never in Kisii. Simba Arati was an MP in Dagoretti, Nairobi. So all of a sudden, this gentleman is just coming from Nairobi. Then he goes to Kisii and beats everybody who've been in that village for the rest of their life. So such kind of feeling makes Osoro feel that how did Simba Arati, just somebody who is as young as I am, make it to be a governor here and beating all of us who've been in Kisii. We started our politics in Kisii. So such kind of thing can also attribute to that. So let us get back. You can see somebody is also updating me on Carabao, whereby Liverpool has beaten Chelsea FC 1-0 in Carabao Cup final. And I think that is how it ended. So thank you for the updates. Let me read this comment. And this comment is what we are going to look at in the first conversation. People have had enough of being lied to. We are smelling the coffee. Heckling is better than protesting, and it's working. So, Goodyear, let me ask you. Heckling is better than protesting. What do you mean? Heckling is a form of protesting. Protesting is what happens when you disagree with what somebody is doing. Then you protest. You get ways of disrupting them, or you get ways of stopping them from doing the same thing. So when people heckle, that is another way of protesting, unless protest has got a different meaning that I need to know. So that is what happened in Kiambu. You've seen the guys, and I like the people who are shouting at the back. They were not harming anybody, but they were just saying, "Hiyo ni mambo ya campaign." And some of them were shouting the name of the former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, saying Uhuru is theirs, that such kind of thing. So, my viewers, I don't know, does it mean that the people of Kiambu, number one, have woken up, they've smelled the coffee, they've realized that there are some things that were meant for campaigns, and now the campaigns are over, things are now reality. I know this one reminds me of a story that is a story that has been said over and over, and it doesn't get old. Of a campaign that was taking place when people were going to heaven and some were going to hell. So when people reach, they took somebody to a certain room and everything was nice there. Uh, there were beautiful human, nice food, sweet music. Yeah, everything was okay. And they went to the other side, and somebody said, "No, I don't want to go to this side. I want to go to that side." Only for him to go back there the next day and find that things are different. So when he asked your soul, "No, yesterday was campaign. This is how hell looks like. What you saw yesterday was campaign." So people of Kiambu have also smelled the coffee and they've realized there was campaign. And now, when it comes to reality, things have to be hard. Things should or have to be the way they are. It is what it is. Nothing like that. So that is why you are seeing some heckling. And this one is also not healthy because this is a region that has been supporting the side that they like fully without wavering, without looking behind. And of late, we've seen the deputy president traversing the place, calling for some community unity or something called some political unity, so that the people of Central can be united. But they're purposefully getting united behind the president, William Ruto. And when they talk of the 2027 elections, they are talking of 2027 elections as people who are going to support William Ruto so that William Ruto can go and finish his second term. But what is happening currently is threatening that unity, because if it continues, then we might end up having 2 or 3 or 4 different factions whereby people will have to walk different ways, which is not always the character of people of the mountain. The mountain will always follow the same direction. It has always been. It has always been like that. So could it mean that the political demographics are going to change? Not forgetting that there are a lot of things that are also happening in the country, like what has always been defining the Kenyan election is always the existence of Raila Odinga, or the availability of Raila Odinga in the ballot paper. It has always made people to decide whether they are waking up to go and vote him out or to go and vote him in. So there are people who normally wake out to ensure they don't vote him. They ensure that Raila doesn't win, while there are some who wake up to go and ensure that he wins. At this moment, when he also threatened that he's exiting these politics, and we are also seeing some rifts growing in the central Kenya. If that one happens, then this kind of things called the patronage politics, whereby you're having a king that is giving direction, might be ending in this country, and people will start voting independently. Are we likely to see people who are voted not to be aligned to specific regional political parties of specific regional candidates? I think that is what is going to happen, but time will tell. Goody is telling me heckling is not planned. It's abrupt, while protest is designated on a specific day or days are planned. Heckling also is interrupting a public speaker. Okay, I'll not extend that argument. I'll agree with you partly, and I'll also disagree with you partly. We need to realize that those people who plan for protest, there are ways of protesting. So if I plan for a protest can mean boycott. I protest by boycotting. You've seen even students protest by boycotting food. If they say, okay, this food, we don't want this, maybe you want to eat nyama na mshere, and they end up giving you githeri every time or giving you sukuma wiki. So you can protest. How do you protest? You boycott that lunch. Wapike, yaribike hapo. That is a method or a way of protesting. Protest involves heckling. There is somebody you don't like. So you've planned to protest. How are you going to protest? When this person speaks, we are going to speak him down or speak her down. We are going to ensure that we heckle until he doesn't have time to speak. You saw it in the last parliament in I think the previous parliaments, when at some point members of Azimio almost stopped the president, who was President Uhuru Kenyatta, from addressing the parliament through the yearly State of the Nation address that happens in parliament. How did they do it? They heckled, whistled, and shouted. Okay, protests can sometimes also become violent when people decide to stop others from enjoying their rights, like people barricading roads and stopping others from moving from one point to another. Some also stop others from doing their businesses. You know, when they become chaotic, people get scared and they have to close their businesses. So all those are protester. Oh, Raila not being on the ballot paper will give us a new list of voting. I think this one now makes sense because what has been happening in this country is when you wake up, you either wake up to go and vote for Raila or to go and vote against Raila. So if he is not on the ballot, then it means that we are going to have a new list of voting. That is true. That I agree. But as it stands, chances are that he will not be on the ballot. Why do you say so? The government have so far shown their determination. They've shown how they are concerned, and they've also shown how they are planning to work and ensure that Raila is not on the ballot. Not by denying him an opportunity to contest, but by giving him an alternative position that is going to keep him away from politics. So 2027 might be different in all the regions. So some of the plans the government is having, let me just show you what the leaders of majority said on that.
The ruling United Democratic Alliance, or UDA party, has formally expressed support for opposition leader Raila Odinga's bid for the African Union Commission chairperson's position. Now, UDA Secretary General Cleophas Malala heaped praise on the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party boss, terming him a true Pan-Africanist. Malala said that the President Ruto party resolved to back Mr. Odinga's bid was not a political decision, but rather a patriotic one made to raise the country's profile and image on the continental scene. Kenya Kwanza will retreat tomorrow to Naivasha for a joint parliamentary group meeting chaired by party leader President William Ruto to, among others, take a position on backing Odinga for an AU job.
And as a coalition and as a party, specifically the ruling party, UDA, we have decided to put our foot down and support Raila Odinga from the sky, on the land, in the sea, whichever place and whatever avenue that we may be having, we will put our resources to support the candidature of Raila Amolo Odinga.
Raila was on the forefront of the greatest leaders who have championed the entrenchment of the tenets of democracy and the rule of law. Today, as the continent goes into deep waters, seeking the emancipation from perpetual dependency on external supports, a man of his stature has the capacity to chart our path and that of Africa to great height. In my capacity as the Secretary General of the ruling party, I wholeheartedly support his bid. I also urge our party supporters and our general membership to support his candidature.
Yes, that is what happened. And even today, yesterday, most of the speakers who've been speaking have supported his bid. So chances are that he might get it. And as you people say, this one is going to change our political voting system. So look at this also.
Mostly from his political foes.
Well, speaking at various church functions, Kenya Kwanza leaders have thrown their weight behind Raila, saying he will be the best candidate for the job. Nimrod Tabu with the details.
Raila Odinga's bid for the AU chairmanship is being celebrated by both his peers and political foes. His bid has so far received support from his Azimio brigade, as well as former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. Kenya Kwanza leaders have also not been left behind. Speaking at different locations, Kenya Kwanza leaders have described Raila Odinga as the best candidate for the job.
Ruto tayari amesema Raila is a candidate for the chairmanship of AU as a Kenyan candidate sponsored and supported by the government of the Republic of Kenya.
Tumesema ya kwamba hii caucus iko nyuma ya mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Na aende afanye kazi, yeye ni mchapakazi.
Wetangula was speaking while attending the Western Region Caucus, which brings together more than 50 members of parliament, senators, and governors. The National Assembly Speaker says the entire Kenya Kwanza government is in support of Raila and wants him to be the first chair from the East African region.
Ni nafasi mzuri tusaidie Mkenya pia akuwe chairman wa African Union. And nobody foots the bill better than Raila Amolo Odinga. Kama ya hapa chini lisindikana, haiwezi kusindikana huko juu.
Other leaders from the Kenya Kwanza regime were in Turbo in Uasin Gishu County, where they continued to drum up support for Raila Odinga. The leaders who were attending a church service and later Harambee described Raila as a true son of Africa who would serve the continent diligently.
If you are supporting Raila Odinga apate kazi, vile vile musupport vijana hawa wadogo wapate kazi zaidi ya Raila Odinga.
Kwa sababu ile kiti ya African Union haiombi kama kiti ya mzee ya mitaa. Inaombwa na serikali ya William Samoei Kipchirchir Arap Ruto.
Na hii kazi ya kupewa si ati tunaokopa Hakuna haja kushinda mtu mpaka Yesu afike. Tumesema tumpatie hiyo iwe zawadi, Mungu pia aone sisi ni wakarimu kama wa Kenya.
The code of conduct of AU is very clear. Mambo ya baba itakuwa mambo ya Afrika. Mambo ya Kenya hii sasa itakuwa ya sisi wale watu tumebaki hapa.
Tunasema tunamtakia mzee wetu Raila Odinga safari njema anapoelekea kule Addis Ababa. Tunamtakia hiyo kazi kabisa na tunamwombea wa Afrika wote tuwaambie hii mzee yetu ni mzee mzuri kabisa.
A bid such as the chair of the AU Commission requires the country in which a candidate comes from to put a spirited campaign with plenty of resources in order to marshal support from other member countries. The AU chairmanship at the moment is being held by Musa Faki Mahamat from Chad. His tenure will end this year. The position has been held only by leaders from South, Central, and West of the African continent. Nimrod Tabu.
That is what happened and today, and I can see Gusii is telling me that Raila going for AU chair contest is a bit political and a clever one. People going to benefit are Ruto, Kalonzo, and Babu Owino. Kalonzo and Ruto were a bit close today, almost like a Wade handshake. Benny Hinn bought some together. The language of these politicians towards Raila is a bit fishy. Oh, that is what people have been thinking. Yeah, why all of a sudden there's a change in tone, there's a change in how they talk, there's a change in how they feel. And if you look at some of the words that they use to describe the person of Raila, then you look at these people giving such description with the words that they used to say before. It tells you something. So Gusii, why do you think it's fishy? I think in this case, it's a win-win situation. Why do I say it's a win-win situation? On the other end, Raila is going to win. How? There's a man who tried to become the Kenyan president. 5 elective attempts, but he never clinched that seat. The dream never came true. So he's now having an opportunity to get a seat at the Africa's top organ, that is AU Commission. And the people who are his competitors, the ones he was competing with or competing against, are the ones who are now supporting him. The Kenya Kwanza are supporting Raila. They are marketing Raila. They are pushing for it more than the ones in Azimio. Maybe it could be because of reasons that are best known by them, because I know the ones in Azimio, even some of them you see publicly supporting that, but deep inside them, they don't feel like that, because they see like, this is our best player, this is our top scorer. So if we now give this scorer, we sell this player, or give this player on a loan, then we are unlikely to survive in this league. Some of them also depends on Raila for them to win elections. So I don't expect them to 100% support it. And why are those people from KK supporting him fully? It's simple. The only person who is derailing their plans, whether positive or negative, is Raila Odinga. The only person who they know, if they try to force the affordable housing on your neck, will cause chaos, is Raila Odinga. The only person who will question some mismanagement of funds within this government, they know, is Raila. And they are confident that shall he go to AU, the code of conduct does not allow him to come back and meddle on the local politics. So they are sending him so that they can be at peace, they can be able to rule you the way they want. It's simple. So in this case, everybody stands to win. Raila personally stands to win, because that will be an achievement. And these other guys also stand to win. So Gusii is telling me that whether Raila wins or not, the Kenya Kwanza and some Azimios don't care. They want him out of the Kenyan politics. Do the ones in Azimio want him out of Kenyan politics? I know of leaders from his region who will not want to see Raila, who doesn't have hands, because the same hands have been lifting them and encouraging them to go for elections, to win the elections. So that's a story that is there. So the thing that we're looking at here first, a good year, I want you to explain this one to me very well. What is not happening in Western? Sorry, I'll go to Western later. I want us to start with this one that is happening in Central. Why all of a sudden? And if maybe you did not watch that movie, you did not movie actually, that clip or that video, I'll just redo it for you so that you can be able to know what is happening there. Why a sudden change? We knew, and you know very well, that a place called Kiambu is a friendly place that the president will want every time, because the people there would be welcoming. Why did they have to do this? Listen to that. Just listen and tell me.
Na sisi kama viongozi wa Kiambu, juzi wakati tulikuwa Lari, hiyo ni vita ya kampeni, tuliwaambia mikutano ya rais. Nataka niwatangazie hapa President William Ruto na
Yes, guys. I don't know what is not happening there. Jeff, good evening.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I can't complain.
Oh, that is
And
great.
yes, sir.
There's something that is happening in this country. I don't know what is changing. What you've just seen is what happened recently, a day ago.
Yes.
And a place that is believed, and not only believed, is a place that gave the current president a majority of the votes. That is the Tarakaniti. The recent Tarakaniti of the last two elections. The other Tarakaniti of Meru just appeared in 2007, and from that we've never heard of it again. So these guys are heckling one of their own, and they've all of a sudden are calling the name of Uhuru. I don't know why. Could it be that Uhuru have started paying back these people to come and sabotage the president's government? Or could it be that the local leaders are the ones who are fighting among each other? And what is the effect of this fight? Is this fight not going to destroy the good relationship and the environment that the president have been enjoying in the central Kenya? Or could it be that the voters are now waking up? I've heard a certain voter at the background saying that hiyo ni mambo ya campaign, meaning they are now realizing that kuna ile lugha ya campaign na ile lugha ya after campaign, and they are realizing that the lugha that Kimani Ichungwa is using ni ile ya campaign. He is forgetting that he is no longer campaigning.
Thank you so much, Bwana Rio. I want to start by Kiambu. Kimani Ichungwa has been at loggerhead with the governor, Kimani Wamatangi. That's why you heard people saying to Reda Tosui, that is to say, we want the chicks. Kimani Wamatangi has been the one supplying those chicks to the farmers or to the people of Kiambu. And that's why the people are saying we want Kimani Wamatangi. Kimani Ichungwa has been a critic, number one, of Governor Wamatangi. So that is one of the conflict, where the conflict is coming from. Also, Kimani has been fighting with Gathoni wa Mushoba. And Governor Wamatangi has some MCAs who are backing him, as well as Gathoni wa Mushomba.
Yeah.
And you see the exchange that was also in parliament between Gathoni wa Mushomba and Kimani Wamatangi. So
Yeah.
they have taken this politics from their own levels, and the only place now they can be able to show the supremacy, we call it the supremacy battle, is to show who is stronger than who in the presence of the president. And as you know, our politicians are not very decent. Sometimes they hire people, they transport people to come and heckle others or put others down, which I say it's a very dirty kind of politics. So I haven't seen anywhere where the president or the deputy president have been heckled. All those are political leaders on the ground who are having the grassroots wars. It is being said that Gathoni is eyeing to become the governor of Kiambu. That is why she has been a serious critic of the current governor Wamatangi. So you never know. Maybe Wamatangi decides, because these people are fighting me, I will also not let them have peace. That is why you had people shouting at the background. It's only one person I heard the voice saying, we want Uhuru, which is also their political
Why do you
right.
think they are introducing Uhuru in their shout?
Nobody is introducing Uhuru. People are free. And I remember Uhuru. I told people here, nobody should think that Uhuru is hated in central Kenya. We respected Uhuru. He is still a leader. We gave Uhuru almost 100% of our support for 10 good years. So Uhuru is not in a political arena. Uhuru is a retired president constitutionally. Though he is trying to, he's still a young man, he's trying to not to be forgotten politically, but constitutionally, he has no chance. So it is out of ignorance. So anybody thinking that Uhuru does not have support in the grassroots, that is not true. The same people who voted for him for 10 years, they are still there. The fact that we voted for William Ruto does not mean that we don't like Uhuru in any way. The only thing people were saying, the fact that you are the president, don't think that you can tell us what to do next when you are not the president. So that's the only area in which the people of Kiambu parted ways with the former president. But in as far as Uhuru being the son of the soil, Uhuru being the leader of Central, and even having some people who have a strong feeling that Uhuru should not have retired, we still have such kind of people. But what is happening right now, those are grassroots war which have nothing to do with the president or the deputy president. They are just showing their supremacy in front of the president, who has more support.
And Jeff, you're saying that Uhuru is still the leader of Central, and Uhuru actually was the leader of Central when he was president, and now he retired. So how can you be a leader if people cannot follow your direction? I think leaders
You
should
see,
always
you
show
see,
direction. Like if you call me a leader, I should lead. How do I
no,
lead? I should tell
no,
you this
no, no.
road is clear, this road is unclear. So the moment you don't take my instruction, I stop being your leader. It means I'm no longer
No,
your leader.
people were not meant to be controlled by anyone. The fact that you are a leader means that people can consider what you are saying and give it a thought. Then they make a decision. A leader is not the one who has absolute power to control people. It is you give your views, we analyze, and we see whether that is the direction we should take. Not only that, remember, we are saying he's still our leader because right now Uhuru is supposed to be the elder in central Kenya, an elder. That he is retired, he is still an elder. You saw how people were happy when he went to Nyeri in one of the burial. Why? Because we still recognize him as an elder, as somebody we can turn to in case there is any kind of advice that we need. And what Uhuru is supposed to do is to realize himself, who he is, and how much people esteem him, and take that position with pride that he is the only former president who is alive. And now he should be acting as a statesman, where not only central Kenya, where Kenya and nations of Africa can learn to for a piece of advice. So someone does not cease to become a leader because of retirement. They occupy a higher position of respect, where people can go for mediation, where people can go for reconciliation, such kind of thing. Yes.
I get you. I get you. Because when you look at that, you'll realize that Uhuru comes from Kiambu County, and it seemed that he is still having some voice over there. Because for people to drag his name where he was, if the war was between the governor and Kimani Ichungwa and Wamushomba, then they ought not to have dragged Uhuru's name. So does it mean that Kiambu to start maybe dragging Uhuru's name, does it mean that Kimani Ichungwa is fighting Uhuru's dominance there?
So how many people were dragging Kimani's name? Nobody mentioned, no leader mentioned Uhuru. It's just one guy, a shouty guy in the crowd who said Uhuru. So what is that now? If I decide to shout Uhuru here, what impact does that have to? It should not even be subject
No,
of discussion.
basically we've seen these things happening. It starts with one person and the song keeps on. Somebody just starts and we say, oh, there's a madman, and now it gains momentum.
There is the way the politics of Kiambu. Last time, there was a time I came here to, I came to Mutembei TV and I tried to demystify or to break down how the politics of not Kiambu but Central Kenya, how we carry politics. In Central Kenya, we are very careful people when it comes to politics, and we sort things out. We sort things out. We don't do this thing emotionally. People already know what the direction that they are likely to take. So anybody thinking that people had a problem with Uhuru, that was misinformation or misunderstanding. People had a problem with Raila Odinga because Raila Odinga for the longest time has been perceived as the common enemy. So when Uhuru decided to jump from Ruto to William Ruto, I mean to Raila Odinga, people now started leaving him as a betrayer because from history, from Jaramogi time, the people of Central Kenya were not on the same side, especially when the Jaramogi parted ways from Kenyatta. This hatred, not even hatred, the political difference you see between the Raidas or Jaramogis and the Central Kenya did not start today. It has been a historical kind of political supremacy battles. So the people of Central Kenya were made to believe that we have a common enemy in the name of Jaramogi. This is when they parted ways with Jomo Kenyatta, and the fallout was very bad. Then after that, who inherited the same? Not even Uhuru, the other political leaders. Even when Jaramogi retired, the same battle continued of making sure that the Odingas don't take power. So the name of Raila Odinga and Jaramogi's family has been tainted for many years, after some years after independence. Now for Raila to clean his name because of Uhuru, it was very hard. That is why Uhuru was perceived as somebody who is trying to betray.
Jeff, you've explained it very well that
yes,
this thing, not hatred, but the political difference started when Jaramogi parted way with Jomo Kenyatta.
Yes.
Raila, his son, was not yet a politician by that time. I think, I guess they were still young. So maybe what was wrong if Uhuru sat down and realized that Uhuru is a Christian, and the Bible tells them that there's something called bitterness, and if you're bitter, you will not see the kingdom of God. Then he realized that there is no need of inheriting other people's difference and taking it as yours. Then he said, okay, if I look around this man called Raila, maybe his father and my dad might have had their differences, but me and Raila, we don't have any difference. Maybe Raila's relatives might have had the difference with Uhuru's relatives, but this difference does not involve Uhuru. This difference between Jaramogi and Kenyatta does not involve innocent Kikuyus who are not even born in Kenyatta's family. And he said, okay, I need to end this kind of inherited bitterness and inherited hatred, because it doesn't affect us as a community. It doesn't affect me as an individual. Me, I don't have any problem. Why do I need to inherit something that was started by people who already died? Why do I need to keep on inheriting this thing? Was it wrong for Uhuru to do that, to mend ways, to end this thing once and for all?
Yes. Let me help you understand.
Yeah.
The idea of bringing of Uhuru and Raila Odinga coming together was a good idea. But now Uhuru and Raila Odinga forgot about the rest of Kenyans, and they thought that the problem is just the two of them or the two families. The problem is the problem of Kenya and the communities. So the simplicity, they handled the matter with a lot of simplicity, as if they have the final say concerning the communities. So the idea of coming together was a brilliant idea. But now, how did they implement the idea? So they reconciled only the two gentlemen forgetting to reconcile the communities. So the process under which they undertook to reconcile among themselves left behind other leaders, left behind the communities. So they handled the matter with a lot of simplicity, as if it is a matter that started yesterday. Like now we can have a difference today. Let me just finish this.
Okay,
We can
yes.
have just a minute, Leo.
Yes.
We can have a difference today with you here, and
Yes.
tomorrow we call the two of us and reconcile. But now remember, Uhuru was an institution, a president of Kenya. For him to become president, he was supported by people.
So he was supposed to call for an election to ask Kenyans if you want to reconcile.
Don't be so simplistic. You see, and Raila also is an institution. You see, behind Raila, there are so many people who support him, people of goodwill who believe in him. So before you go and shake hands with anyone, that now that we are reconciling, he was supposed to sit down and decide who and who should be involved in the process. How do we go about it? And that is why you saw that it did not solve the problem that they wanted to solve. Why? Because instead of reconciling, they created more divisions because of what we call suspicion. The best way would have been, when Raila Odinga decided we don't want all these conflicts, we don't want all these wars, and Uhuru Kenyatta the same, they were supposed to retreat. Go call their foot soldiers, sit down with them, those who supported them to be where they are, tell them what the ideas they have, then they come up with modalities under which they're gonna use so that they carry their crowd together with them. That is how they were supposed to do.
And Jeff,
So
before I read some of the comments here, I know
Yes.
you'll finish, don't worry. Before I read the comments here, you earlier stated very well that the difference was between Jaramogi and Kenyatta, an individual, so the rest of the community inherited the difference. Then,
Yes. And
what if the reconciliation, their fathers had differences? Uru's father and Raila's father, the difference was personal between their two fathers. But these
it
other
was not
communities,
personal. It was also, it was,
I'm coming
it was
there.
also
I'm coming
community.
there. I'm coming there. Then now the difference comes, the community inherited it. What is wrong with now the sons, these two sons reconciling the way those people differed, then now the community to inherit the reconciliation? I hope Jeff will come back and respond to this. Of course, Goody have also said that there was more than one person calling out for Uhuru. You are right about Raila Uhuru, and that is oh, Jeff, I'm glad you're back. I'm saying, what is so wrong if now these two gentlemen reconciles, then the community to inherit the reconciliation? Then apart from that, we saw, I don't know what happened. If I can recall, some elders from both communities were called, and there were a series of meetings. So, or who are these foot soldiers that you're talking of?
I'm talking of Raila Odinga had members of parliament, had senators, had leaders of the coalition. Remember the NASA, the not NASA, but Azimio. Was it Azimio? No, NASA principles.
Of which all of them were not Luo community. I think maybe you are supposed to call the.
You see.
Yes.
The problem with you,
Yes.
you are having what we call isolated way of seeing things.
I'm just going
What
by
you don't
your
know,
statement. You said
what
the
you don't
statement, the
know.
problem was
No,
between
listen,
Jaramogi,
listen,
the Kikuyus,
listen.
and the Luos,
Leo,
because
Leo,
there's
I
no
want you
problem.
to broaden. I want you to
Yes.
broaden your mind and see the
Yes.
bigger picture.
Okay.
Once
Okay.
a bad seed is sown, it
Yes.
multiplies.
Uh-huh.
So it multiplies in a way that you cannot control. So the problem was between the two communities initially.
Yes.
But now, when these kids came,
Yes.
instead of now building bridges,
Uh-huh.
they furthered the problem. They
Mhm.
continue with the same rhetoric that, we are like this because of this and this and this and this. And now people now started supporting them. That is why we say politics in Kenya is so tribal. People started supporting each side based on the tribes they come from, where they feel more associated or included. Now,
Yeah.
this problem, because it has lasted for many years, it multiplied, it created branches, it gave birth to siblings. So we are talking of something that the elder people they have a problem, because like now when we were growing up, I don't want to even go there, but
Yeah.
let me just put it in a simpler way.
Yeah.
What I was saying is this: even if we are
Yeah.
to forget about what happened with the Jaramogis and Kenyattas, because the country is moving forward,
Yeah.
something that has started for over 50 years, a problem that has been there germinating and growing and multiplying and mutating for over 50 years. It's not something you can just sit down for 5 or 10 hours between the two of you and now come out and shake hard and think now you have resolved the problem. That is a simplistic way of seeing things. Now, what we are supposed to do, and this one I'm not saying for the sake of argument. I don't like just talking for the sake of supporting one side or supporting one side. Mine, I desire to see a Kenya where nobody will see me as Geoffrey the Kikuyu, where nobody will see Leo as Leo the Root. I would like to see that Kenya where people will see me as Geoffrey, a Kenyan who has these and these abilities, who can offer and these services to the nation. That's how it is supposed to be. But unfortunately, that is not where we are. That's why I'm saying the best way, if I was Uhuru, and now the reason why I said they gave room for suspicion is because they rocked themselves, the two of them, and maybe with another one or two people, and then they came, they said, we have agreed. The suspicion came in because they never told each other, they never told the public genuinely what was agreed. The only thing we saw after that, they started campaigning for BBI. And the suspicion on the side of Central Kenya, people started saying, Uhuru want to become the Prime Minister of Kenya. Because, and he started saying, those people who were closer to Uhuru.
So the jealousy stopped them from supporting Uhuru from being the Prime Minister of Kenya.
It's not jealousy. It is not jealousy. It is not jealousy.
Yes.
Leo, we are in the
Yes.
20th century,
Yes.
whereby nobody should ever think that he is special or he is more entitled than others. If people have honored you to become not a member of parliament, but a president for 10 years, then you start a song telling people, I am too young, though he was not the one saying. The people, his inner circle started spreading the news that he is very young to retire. Not only that, Uhuru in one occasion said for him he is not contesting to continue with his power, but if people decide to give him any position, he would accept it. So automatically, such kind of talks told people that is the reason why they are pushing the BBI. So the selfishness in the whole agreement of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta made people feel like these people are taking us for a ride. They think they are most special. They think they can determine the fate of the nation among the two
But
of
I
them.
think that is what we saw even happening this last year. Did you see that one happening last year? Is there any difference between the BBI and the NADCO?
Let me finish.
Yes.
Excluding all other leaders,
Yes.
excluding the input of the community, those who
Yeah.
supported them.
Yeah.
Even if it is so hard to involve everybody, why didn't
Yes.
they involve the elected leaders? And that is where now you saw Raila Odinga, because the only person who remained, although he had complaint, was Kalonzo Musyoka, who remained with Raila Odinga. These others, the principal said no, we were not involved in
And
the
Jeff, I want us to be factual here. In number one, I want us to dismiss the issue of involving the elected leaders unless you correct yourself and say all. Because if you talk of elected leaders, we saw several meetings both in Central and in the Luo Nyanza.
Where?
We had in Bondo.
Which one?
In Bondo, I'll give you the videos and everything. The elected
Before the
leaders.
handshake?
Forget about the
Are you
handshake.
sure?
The handshake was not forget about the handshake. Those are stories. Even Ruto met Raila in the handshake, and
No,
nobody even
you
knows
know
what they
what
talk
we
about.
mean, right? You see, don't just.
I'm talking of the
not for the sake
reconciliation
of
part of
defending.
it. The handshake was not for reconciliation.
You don't first go and say we have reconciled, then tell people now come, let us go
When
together.
Kofi Annan came to meet Kibaki and Raila, the first thing is you must be able to speak with each other before you sit on the table to reconcile.
You
cannot
can speak
reconcile
to
when
each
somebody is
other.
facing west and somebody is
Listen,
facing east.
Leo.
That greeting was to open ways. They stated clearly
Leo,
after the yes.
Leo.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to mediation and arbitration,
Yes.
I am an expert in that field.
Yes.
Because when you are trained in human resource management, you are trained for those things. What do you do so that you don't reach into escalation? So in the mediation process, if there are so many parties involved, even if you meet the two of you, you don't go to announce that the two of us have agreed. Then after that, you tell others, now let us come on board. It is you go because you know very well you are not the only person involved in the whole thing. The conflict of Kenya is wider than Uhuru Kenyatta.
So allow me to take you through some of the processes that happened.
Wait, let me finish. The conflict of Kenya is wider than Raila Odinga. That is why I'm saying, what you do when you have such a conflict, you get a good number of people, you brainstorm, because instead of solving the problem, if the process is faulty, you are likely to escalate the situation. That is why you saw everything Uhuru tried to do in that process of reconciliation, to a larger extent, did not achieve the objective. The only good thing, and here I genuinely wanna thank William Ruto. I missed so many things that were not supposed to be done. William Ruto held his horse. He decided, I am not going to disturb these people. They have decided they will not involve me in their process. The other people, the Kalonzos, the Mudavadis, the Wetaguras, decided we are not going to disturb the peace of the nation. But if they became, if they decided now to go and incite their supporters, there would have been no peace in Kenya. So the people we are supposed to think are those people who felt left out, but instead of causing more chaos and conflict, decided that for them, they will focus with their own things, with their campaign to become leaders and do away with the two people who decided that they are not.
Jeff, I have a question for you. Kenya is having a problem with Uganda. Kenya is having a problem with Uganda. Will the president? I'm giving an example. If Kenya is having a problem with Uganda today, does the president have to carry everybody, all the cabinet secretaries, to go and talk to Museveni, or if the president himself and Museveni, the two of them, can solve the problem? Which one is easier?
That example is irrelevant, Leo.
It's not irrelevant. There is a representative in a household. I'm having a problem with
genuinely.
my neighbor. Do I carry my wife, my children, and
No,
everybody to go solve the problem if I can do it once? Yes, I have an agreement with my wife. We are married. We are partners.
You are just showing that you
I'm
are
just
not
asking you a question.
understanding. You are not understanding what you are dealing with. What we are dealing with here is a political situation in Kenya, which this political situation did not involve just Uhuru and Raila Odinga, but the two decided that
It
if
involved
the two
who? It involved Uhuru, Kenyatta, and Raila, and the people they
I say
represented.
it did not only underline the word only.
Who are the other people who are
If
involved?
the
Let me
problem
know.
was to be resolved, if the problem was
Yes.
to be resolved, it was supposed to involve all the people who were campaigning for Raila Odinga and those that were campaigning for Uhuru Kenyatta. This is what we call omission, the mistake of omission. The mistake of omission is whereby you see things the way they are not and decide to act in the way you are not supposed to act. Uhuru Kenyatta, though, because I'm the president, I can decide everything, and everything that I decide, all the others will follow me, regardless of the process. And that
But
is where
Jeff, maybe if we
let me
don't
finish,
maybe
let me
make a big debate on that, according to
let
the
me
Kenyan
finish.
constitution, the president
Let
is
me
the head of
finish.
state who represents
No.
our interest. When the
Tunasema
president speaks, he speaks as 50 million plus Kenyans. If he goes and borrows loan, Eurobond, he doesn't involve or call anybody. Whatever he does, because he goes as a president, represents everybody. So if Uhuru Kenyatta met Raila Odinga as the Jubilee Party leader, he represented everybody in Jubilee. Raila Odinga, as maybe the NASA party leader, represented everybody in NASA. So do we need to blame these people? And if we need to blame these people, we saw the same happening this year, last year. The president met Raila Odinga in Mombasa. Nobody complained. They made the agreement and came up with the NADCO report. Did they consult?
Leo, you have
Yes.
a wrong perception and understanding of leadership. Leadership
Make me
does not
understand.
mean you make decision on behalf of others. Leadership means you lead people. You are able to understand what to do, when, and how. And that is where the two leaders failed. Because, Leo, if today I work with you in the same team, and me and you are having a problem with another person, then on the side, without my knowledge,
yes,
you would decide to go and talk to the other person.
Nobody
In my
substantiated that their knowledge wasn't
Let me finish. Let me just finish.
Yes.
You go and talk to the other person, only for you to come and tell me, Geoffrey, I went and met so and so whom we had differences, and we have resolved the difference. So join me so that we can move ahead together.
Yes.
One, what you
So
have
if
done,
you are not consulted, you would have to dispute. But
please,
this is a situation whereby we did see anybody
let me finish.
substantiating.
Please let me finish so that you may understand where I'm coming from.
Yes.
What you are doing, you are distracting me. So when you do that, one thing that will come in my mind is that Rio did not respect me. Na tunasema heshima si utumwa. So the first thing you are supposed to do, even before, if I call you, if somebody calls you and you know hii shida haikuwa yetu peke yetu, even before you go to sit with that person, you tell that person, there are so many people involved in this. Let me go call for a baraza or for a meeting. We brainstorm on how we are going to handle that issue. Go call your people. Na hapa ndipo tunasema heshima sio utumwa. What happened? The people on the side of Uhuru, the leaders who supported Uhuru, 100% offered their time, their money, campaigning day and night for him to become the president for the first time and the second time. They felt disrespected. The same case on the side of Raila Odinga. So, the moment you create bad blood, yet you're in the process of resolving a conflict. And this is a serious conflict.
And maybe at a citizen perspective, we are citizens, we are not politicians. Do you think these people are not consulted in both sides?
Listen, Leo.
Do you think these guys
can I tell
from
you
both
something?
sides were not
Can I tell you
not
something,
consulted?
Leo? Can
Do you
I
know
tell you
politicians?
something?
Yes, tell me.
No, can I tell you something, Leo? I
Yes.
interact with politicians at a very personal level.
Yes.
Very
And do you think they
personal
can
level.
discuss their political secret with you,
Very,
knowing you are not
listen,
a
listen,
politician? Can they
at a very
share?
personal level. And not only that, in Kenya,
Yes.
we are not in darkness. We are not in a
Uh-huh.
banana republic. We have, today we are in the social media era. Today we are in the digital era where everything that goes on, almost 99.9%, it is public, not hidden anywhere today in this world. So every Kenyan knows what happened and what went wrong between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta. So
do you know what these people say in public and what they say in private is different?
I don't wanna argue around that because I know what I know. You may not take it, but I wanted to say this.
Yes.
The idea of coming together of Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta was a good thing. How they decided to do it was not the good way. They did not show respect for other leaders who supported them. They did not consult them. You know, consulting me does not just mean calling me and telling me I am going to meet so and so. It is we come up with the methodology. We sit down, we brainstorm, even if it's for a month or a week, because the problem they intended to solve is a problem that has lasted there for over 50 years. It is the problem is our leaders don't show seriousness when they are dealing with issues. They want just to simplify things. Oh, tumereconcile, tumeresolve, sasa tuendelee. But they have not started. They have not put down the strategies. They have not even identified where are the problems. Then after that, they decide the way forward. So the moment Uhuru Kenyatta failed in involving his people the right way, maana mimi sioni kwa nini hawa watu wote wa Central waliambia Uhuru Kenyatta hapana. Sioni kwa nini many leaders on the other side waliambia Raila Odinga hapana, haujatuonyesha heshima vyenye tulikuwa tunastahili.
None of them did that. None of them said that hawajakuwa consulted. They only came to say it during campaigns.
No, Leo, deep in your heart, you know what I am saying. So
It didn't happen. We don't have records. When these people shook hands, nobody spoke.
I don't want to overemphasize that. In that handshake, we would have seen Uhuru Kenyatta, we would have seen William Ruto, we would have seen senior people in the government, we would have seen Raila Odinga in that handshake, we would have seen Musalia Mudavadi, we would have seen Moses.
Why and Mudavadi was not contesting for any seat?
Let me finish, Rio. And it's because now you are only thinking of politics. I'm talking of reconciliation of the nation. So we would have seen all those leaders come together after talking to their members of parliament, their MCAs, their senators, their women reps, after they have agreed on the way forward. Now the handshake can be done by the senior leaders. That did not happen. So this is what I'm saying. Instead of resolving the problem how it was supposed to be resolved, Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta decided we are going to run away with it so that they can decide the fate of the nation after that. That is why Uhuru was fighting so hard for the BBI to go ahead, to sail through. People were suspicious that he's the one who had to become the prime minister. Such suspicions would have been avoided if they did these things the right way. That is why also you saw, instead of Uhuru Kenyatta, who was going to retire, instead of trying to bring William Ruto and Raila Odinga together, he did much to separate them. I was asking myself, Leo, and I want you to look at it in a genuine, not in a political eye, in a genuine way. Was it a must that Uhuru Kenyatta decide to create, to break a bridge with William Ruto to reconcile with Raila Odinga? Was it a must?
I know reconciliation. What happens in?
No, just answer my question.
I want to answer you in this question. I'll take
Was
you
it a map
to.
to break one bridge to build another one?
It happened in 2013. Raila Odinga and William Ruto were on the same side in 2007 elections. You know very well. For William Ruto to reconcile with Uhuru Kenyatta and run on the same ticket, they had to create a rift between Raila and Ruto. So should we, maybe what you can say is that Uhuru breaks one bridge to build another bridge. So what happened? They had to
And that's the wrong
separate
way.
Raila.
That is the wrong way of doing things. If you are a genuine person.
But you supported that
Leo,
in 2013. Why do you have to
Leo,
oppose it again in 2013?
Bwana
How did
Leo,
it happen? For Uhuru
you
to
don't know what I
unite with
supported.
Ruto,
So
they had to
unless you're
break.
talking,
They had to
unless you're
break
talking to another
Raila
person
and
out
William
there.
Ruto. So that is politics. It is about
Unless
interest,
you're
Jeff.
talking, unless you're talking. Okay, let me show you my
You
perspective.
told me you supported Uhuru for 10 years. So for 10 years, what does it mean?
wait.
You supported the breakup between Ruto and Raila in 2010
Leo,
to create
now
Ruto and Uhuru. So why
don't
can't we?
don't create your own things here. Now let
No,
me show you something.
I'm just trying to answer your question.
Let me tell you where
Yes,
I'm
yeah.
coming.
Yes.
I am not just arguing for the sake of argument.
Yeah, I get it.
This is how, if I was Uhuru Kenyatta,
Yes.
this is how I was going to handle the matter.
Mhm.
I was going to say, as Uhuru Kenyatta, I am
Yes.
going to retire as the president of Kenya. So I have
Yes.
no political interest.
Uh-huh.
And because I have no political interest, these
Yes.
two people, William
Yes.
Ruto
Uh-huh.
and Raila Odinga, have been friends for so many years. What I will do, I'll call the two of them and their supporters. I mean those relevant others, the staunch leaders around them, and I tell them, guys, I am retiring. Between the two leaders that you have here, can we try to come up with a methodology under which these people can take over when I retire from politics? They come up
It's
with
only one seat that is being taken
Listen.
over. So how can two of them take over one seat?
No, listen to me, Leo.
Yes.
Leo, it's not like you understand what I'm saying. Try
Yes.
to understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
If Uhuru was
Yeah.
what would have done if I was Uhuru, and this is what I was saying, and this is what I even said last time during that heated campaign time, that Uhuru was in a better position of uniting all the people of Kenya. He was in a position to lower the political temperatures by trying to bring Raila Odinga and William Ruto together, and he retires. But instead of doing that, he saw an opportunity for him to further his leadership, for him to remain in power, for him to consolidate power. He felt that, oh, if I bring Raila Odinga on my side,
Yes. Yeah.
I don't need, Raila Odinga has good support base. I have good support base as Uhuru Kenyatta. We don't even need William Ruto. We can do away with him. That is our politics, which I felt it wasn't the right way. What he would have done as a statesman who was going to retire was to bring William Ruto, Raila Odinga together, tell them, with your people, go decide how we're going to handle the 2022 elections, because for me, I'm retiring. I want you people to work together. I want us to come up with a method of bringing Kenya together, reconcile our communities, bring down the tribal animosity down. Uhuru was in a better position to do that. Bring Musalia Mudavadi, Wetangula, those central leaders that are influential, to try to bring our people together. He failed the test of time because for him, he saw an opportunity for him to continue being in power. That's what I think. That's what I saw. But Raila Odinga and William Ruto and the other leaders, if Uhuru became a good leader, he was supposed to guide them to be in a position to bring the country together, which he failed terribly. I rest my case.
Oh, that is good. That is good. But we need to know that politics has got its rule. Politics is you have to do anything as long as you can be relevant. And in politics, about interest. So as long as your interest is not being served, then that is the end of it. And that is why it was possible for the forces to break and create a bridge between Raila and Ruto, so that Ruto can be united with Uhuru. And it was so easy to unite them because they had a similar case in Hague. And that is what united them. Actually, that one united them. It put them together until all of them managed to drop their case. Then after dropping the case from Hague, then there was nothing again that was uniting them. So what is wrong that we need to tell people is that we don't need to inherit some hatred or some political culture from people even who lived before us. So how will I tell my how will I tell my son that, you see, the reason why I cannot vote somebody from Kikuyu is because Jaramogi differed with the Kenyatta. I think that child will look at me and will tell me I'm somehow mad. How does Jaramogi and Kenyatta's issue concern me? I know Jeff very well. If now Jeff wants to become president, now I say that, you see, Jeff is a Kikuyu. Me, I come from Nyanza. We've grown knowing that we can't vote Kikuyus. I think that one is awkward, and that is the culture that we need to change. We don't need to wait for the leaders. These people will not change anything. It is us to change this kind of perception and tell people that, look, by the time Jaramogi was disagreeing with Kenyatta and the people inheriting, people were a little bit naive. They did not understand what leadership is. They did not understand this kind of system. But now in this century, how does that one even happen? If somebody asks you, why do you hate Kimani Ichungwa? Personally, he's not done anything wrong to you. Do you just hate Kimani Ichungwa because Kimani Ichungwa is fighting Wamuchomba? Do I heckle Kimani Ichungwa because Kimani Ichungwa is competing Wamatangi? Why can't I weigh them? Okay, Kimani Ichungwa wants to become the governor of Kiambu. Okay, Wamatangi is the governor. What has Wamatangi done? What is Kimani Ichungwa promising to do? I think that is where we need to head as a country. And we should not be inheriting this kind of bitterness. And even those people who profess Christianity. This week, the last 2 days, the government sponsored Benny Hill. Maybe for those people who've not been understanding the Ezekiel Odera, who've not been understanding Muiru, Kanyari, and our local corn-like priests, they decided to go and import you one in the name of Benny Hill. That one, I think, is going to help us maybe understand. In Christianity, they are telling you that if you are bitter, those people with bitterness will not see the kingdom of God. And for those ones who want to go to the kingdom of God, it's upon you. I think Ruto's governance has a lot of Kikuyus to balance the house. The three don't really hate each other. Behind the scenes, nobody hates each other. Good year. People live. Kenyans don't hate each other. And actually, this kind of hatred is normally propagated during elections. Every day when you wake up, you go to shop to buy. Some of you even pass the shop of your village mate, and you go to buy to a shop of somebody you don't even know their village. That one tells you how Kenyans love each other. Why do I leave Onyango's shop and I go and buy in Mohammed's shop? Simply because Mohammed is maybe going to give me a better price, or simply because Mohammed knows how to talk to customers. But why is it that when we come to politics, we don't tell people to vote that person who is talking nicely or that person who is giving you a better offer? You are told to vote that person whose name resembles your name. I think that is where we get it wrong as a nation. And you people will agree with me that the moment we start reasoning politically the way we reason in our daily life, then everything will be okay. Somebody is saying, I was shocked to see Pastor Shakahola in Nyayo Stadium. Yes, Nyayo Stadium had several pastors. We had Nganga there. Our very own Bishop Bagret Wanjiru was there. We had Pastor Dorcas, Prophetess Rachel Ruto, everybody. Actually, Kenyans, I think maybe they went to see how things can be done differently. I don't know if in Kenya we're having so many pastors and bishops and reverends and this kind of revered names. We saw one, is he called Johanna? Ule wa kutoa mapepo. So what are some of the lessons? Jeff, I know I just want your humble opinion. Huh? We had a 2-day, it was called, was it a revival? Benny Hinn had some revival crusade or revival service that was sponsored by the state. And it was really full. People went there to go and receive their healings. The president himself led from the front. He attended the healing service. So the theme of the service was healing the nation. And when I talk of healing the nation, you know, the country is currently sick. Country is not sick of malaria, but the country is sick of unemployment, inflation, corruption, and all those kind of things. So do you think that it was the right thing for the government to use money and bring a preacher to come and heal our nation, Jeff?
Hope you can hear me, Mr.
Yes, I
Leo.
can hear you. But I just need your humble opinion. You know, we are not. Let us not discuss men of God because it's against the will of God to touch the anointed ones. I just want us to discuss it in the kind of the theme that was brought, so that those
Yes,
people
and
and any other person can
one,
understand.
it is good that you have brought in that topic after somebody has made a comment that he saw Pastor Shakahora in Nyayo Stadium. Number one, I want to tell Kenyans that Kenya is a nation of people who fear God. A large number of people in Kenya, they acknowledge the name of God. They worship the true God. And I would tell people the reason why you see so many people with troubles and problems is because sometimes we talk and even we talk what we don't know. And if there are people that God defend and fights for them jealously, it's those people we despise called the men of God. So I just want to give a humble advice that if you have nothing good to say about somebody, unless you are very sure of what you are saying, don't say anything. Because the moment you attack men of God, either by calling them names, it is not them that you attack. It is God that you attack. Those men of God, some of them are very qualified even to do other things. But some of them have sacrificed a lot just to serve God. Many people don't know what pastors go through. Only God understands the battles and the cries of the servants of God. And that's why the moment they are attacked, God defends them jealously. That's why you see so many people sick, but they don't know why. Sometimes it's because of the words you speak. I want to take you to the book of Job. When Job was going through troubles, his friends talked about him, and in a very bad way, in a very negative way. But God appeared to them and told them, the things you have said about me or about my servant are not true. Go to him that he may pray for you so that I don't kill you. So that's how much God defends those that he works with. Anyway, I want to say this about the crusade, which is ongoing, or I don't know whether it has ended in Nyayo Stadium. When you read the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14, this is what God said, that if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I'll forgive their sins and I will heal their land. I agree with you, Leo. Our nation is sick. We have faced drought. We have faced heavy debts. We have faced high cost of living. When you see such kind of things and many things that are happening in the world today, it is only a humble leader who can say, I need the help of God. So when you see somebody of the caliber of the president embracing prayers, for me, I am saying that as somebody who understands spiritual matters, I can say that the nation of Kenya is very lucky. That somebody who can say, I don't even acknowledge God. After all, I'm the president. After all, I am very rich. But he is saying, I acknowledge that there is another power that supersedes my power. And I want to acknowledge that name of God. God is saying, if we humble ourselves and seek him, he is able to turn our troubles around. He is able to heal our country. So for me, it's a plus for the nation of Kenya. Not many leaders who do that. Just one more example. King Nebuchadnezzar was a blessed leader of Babylon. And Babylon in those days was almost a superpower. I think it was a superpower, the nation of Babylon. And one day he went around, as he was walking around the cities he had built, he asked a question: who else can build this kind of cities, magnified cities, except me, the king of Babylon? People say there is God. Which God? Who is that God that can do such kind of things? Just by saying that, that is how he was turned. God removed his human mind and put in him the mind of the animal. And he was drawn to the forest where he was. He became an animal. For how many days? For 7 years. I think for 7 years, he was eating grass with other animals. So we are talking of a superior God that many people today don't acknowledge, don't think even it's important to call pastors and pray. But for those who understand now life, not just physical, but also see life in a spiritual way, they know what that kind of intervention means for the nation. And I'm also hopeful that if we continue praying as a nation, God will continue blessing Kenya. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a pastor for 2 minutes. We can't hear you, Mr. Rio.
I'm saying thank you so much. And on that note, after making you a pastor for 2 minutes, I believe you can still be for just 1 minute. You've said well, and it's true that our country is sick. It's true. Our country is sick of unemployment. Our country is sick of immorality. Our country is sick of corruption. That is true, among other issues. And for the people who read the Bible, in the Old Testament, we had prophets like Amos, prophet like Jeremiah and Isaiah. So this critical moment when our country is full of immorality, there is extreme poverty whereby the poor are being exploited. We have a situation whereby there's a lot of corruption. So these are the things that used to find Israelites at a moment, and God will send them some prophets, because when it happened, you'll find that God will also not allow the rain, and there will be a lot of locusts and such kind of things. And you'll see prophets like Prophet Amos talking strongly against these devices. Do you think that as a country right now, the preachers that we have in the country should at some point stop teaching the sweet message of how maybe following God will make you rich and such kind of things and imaginary miracles, and start preaching or condemning these vices in the society? They start condemning and telling people that, you see, turn away from immorality, stop being corrupt, stop doing this. Should they, is it not the right time that is what they need to preach? And nawatoke kwa ile, you know, when I say the sweet gospel, ile ya kwambia wewe kuja ukipeana mea Mungu atakubariki, such kind of things.
Thank you, Bonario. I wish you can continue talking. I want to prepare myself to join the show live. I want to open my video. But just to answer that one question, I want to agree with you. Yes, we have, you know, what people don't do. People don't distinguish between a true pastor and a false pastor. And today we have so many imposters. As the Bible says that in those days, people will elect for themselves. People will elevate for themselves. People will be telling them what they want to hear. Today, we have people who are not pastors, but they pose as servants of God when they are not. But that does not mean that we don't have remnants. Amidst many fake pastors, Even during the time of Ahab and Jezebel, we still had Elijah. So, as much as we have fake pastors, in most cases, fake pastors and fake prophets are more than the genuine ones. So it's upon the people who want to be served by the true servants of God to look for them and also to pray for guidance from God. So what is happening, especially in the nation of Kenya? People want to go to those who will either entertain them. The church has become a comedy so that they can laugh and fall down because of the funny jokes. People are looking for those who will give them fake promises that you build a house, you will buy a car, you will buy land, you will get married. Those are the kind of messages that we embrace, and those are the people that the Bible is telling us that we have elected for ourselves, people who will tell us what we want to hear. But we will have rejected the power of God that is able to make us godly people. So God has no problem with people buying cars. After all these cars are for people. God has no problem with people building houses. After all, people are supposed to live in houses. But we are servants of God. We have been called to prepare people, to make them disciples, most especially for where they go after this life. But have we prepared people of where they will go after death? So we focus so much on the things that we are not supposed to actually focus on, but those are the boundary things that people embrace more than the word of God. And that does not mean we don't have remnants. We still have good pastors. And that is why I tell people, just pray for them, just pray for them, and also be careful. Don't be blindfolded just to follow things rightly. However, it is okay for servants of God to pray the way they want to pray, but also it is very good to be very careful, because in most cases, even when you look at the Bible, fake pastors, fake prophets are more than the genuine ones. And I would like you to check the book of, I would like you to check the story of Ahab and his prophets, the prophets of Baal and prophets of Asherah. There were almost, I think, around 900 fake prophets against one true prophet of God who was called Elijah. Now you can imagine the situation today. These fake prophets have continued to be born. They have continued to build churches, but are they true servants of God? So maybe in our services, we shall now be looking at how can you distinguish between a true servant of God and a fake servant of God. But having said that, when you look at somebody like Ben Hinn, because I know that's why this topic is coming up. Somebody like Ben Hinn started preaching the word of God from the time he was a very young boy. You see, very young boy. And this guy has stood the test of time until now. You know, and the Bible says, you will know them by their fruits. You will know them by their fruits. Let me tell you, like pastors, in most cases, they don't go far. Their time is numbered. They go, but along the way, God hits them. So that's why I normally tell people, don't fight for God. Don't try to defend God. He knows how to fight for himself. Just your work is just to, when you see that Jeff is not doing what he's supposed to do, pray for him that he may change his ways. If you cannot pray for me, just leave me alone, because God will know how to deal with me. God will know how to deal with them.
There is somebody, I think, responding to you. I don't know if you have a response to it. Somebody called Ezesh Mufunyi. Ezesh Mufunyi is saying, Jeff should stop beating about the bush and just say the biggest crime Uhuru committed was him reconciling with a Luo called Raila. What do you have to tell him? I think he was responding to the conversation we were having earlier, which actually we were reacting to what happened in Kiambu, where people are heckling the leader of majority. And it came out that some of them were shouting the name of Uhuru and such kind of things.
I don't want to go back to that topic because I think I had said what I wanted to say. I talked in length, and I
Yes.
don't want to go back to that topic again. Please, with
I
all due
get you. Oh, Ramesu Yegon, karibu sana, karibu sana. I've seen your comment over there. That is your opinion. That is really good. And even the comments that you've had, Jeff is not representing the opinion or the views of Afrik TV, but those are his personal opinion as Jeff. And that is why we normally encourage everybody that when you join here, you are free to speak your mind. You are free to give your opinion, irrespective of what you believe in. Afrik is not responsible for any comments that are made by their panelists or the viewers on the comment section. These comments are made at personal level and the opinions of individuals, not the opinions of Afrik TV. Afrik is just giving you an opportunity to air your opinion. So if you've not subscribed, tafadhali ensure that you subscribe to Afrik TV. There are some guys who are telling me that there are some programs we are not able to see. Kwani, what happened? These are people who are joining and following us from our partner channel, that is Mtembei TV. So kindly, if you follow us from Tembei TV already, I know you've subscribed from Tembei TV, do so and subscribe to Afrik TV. You don't lose anything by subscribing to both of them. You stand to gain because the day we are not in Tembei TV, you'll find us in Afrik. The day we are not in Afrik, you'll find us in Mtembei. So if you subscribe to Mtembei TV and you're watching me through Mtembei TV, before you do anything, ensure you look for Afrik TV, subscribe, and invite your friends to do so. Good dear, karibu sana. I like the way you are keeping the comment section engaged. And actually, if you're watching me, like I can see so many people are watching and they're just silent. Don't be silent watchers, tafadhali. We need to be as interactive as possible. That is why we are here. We're making conversation. We are getting your ideas. We are getting your views. We are trying to see you are the ones who are going to shape this discussion by telling us what you believe in. Ask those questions. The people here will respond to them. Give those concerns. We will listen. Share your mind. We will learn something from you. But if you're just quiet, you're doing us some injustice. Actually, we just kindly ensure you engage. Nobody will penalize you for writing 10 or 100 comments. Actually, I'll be happy to see your 100 comments. Ramesu Yegon, to me, God and the Bible is, why would he create evil? Isaiah 45:7 says, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. I hope one of these fine days on Sunday, I'm going to bring some Bible study, and we people can be able to learn, engage, and try to look into the Bible keenly. But as now, we can say that, God gives a man free will to choose between what is right and what is evil. I think that is the most democratic thing that has happened. And God will not force you that, you have to do the right thing. No, you choose what is right and what is wrong. At the end of the day, you'll meet huko mbele, and choices have got consequences. So Ramesu Yegon, your message is well delivered. Thank you so much. Karibu sana. Karibu sana Ezesh. This is Ezesh Mfunyi. Hakikisha kuwa umeleta mtu mwingine tena kesho na umwambie akikuja hapo shout jina yako. Shout jina yako. And very soon we are going to launch a promotion whereby you invite 5 people to subscribe. Then we reward you, or you invite 10. And how will we know? When they subscribe, tell them to watch and write your name on the comments. So I'll just be selecting. If somebody comes and write Gusii, I know Gusii, I've brought him or her. If somebody writes Yegon, I know Yegon amemleta. Na nitakuwa na hesabu tu Yegon ameandikwa na watu wangapi na ni siku ngapi. So simple. So could you ask Jeff why a loving and all-knowing God would create evil? I know we are going to bring such lesson. It just came because it was among the great things that happened in this country today, yesterday and today. And we saw the heads of state gracing the healing service. So we just had to talk of it. So karibu sana Mzalendo. Top of our story, we are looking at Simba Arati roaring in Kisii, sending the Osoros to hide. We know very well Osoro is interested in becoming the governor of Kisii. And some people argue that, Osoro, being a politician who started his political career in Kisii, thought that he's so entitled, and if anything, because they almost edgement with the Arati, he did not believe that somebody like Arati, who was doing Nairobi politics, would just leave Nairobi in 7 months and become a governor, beating the people who have been voters and politicians in Kisii for the rest of their life. So, in your own opinion, what do you think is the problem between Osoro and somebody called Simba Arati? And who do you see winning this political battle that is happening in Kisii? Then lastly, how is this one going to affect the residents who are, some are voters, some did not vote, but the residents of Kisii who depend on these leaders to give them services? Karibu sana, and welcome to this show, even as I also welcome Geoffrey Ruto is there. I'm going to let me just read his comment before. Just a minute, Mzalendo. Geoffrey is saying that I've been listening to panelists in other platforms, judge others' faith, which is very wrong according to the Bible teachings that we should. Geoffrey, nimesikia hiyo, alafu nakukaribisha Sunday. Sunday we are going to have that religious debate. Mzalendo, karibu.
Thank you, Leo, and once again, good evening, Mr. Leo. Well, I want to just dive into the issue of Simba and not dwell so much on the issue of Benin and the people's faith, because Kenya, we have got so many denominations, we have got so many people practicing other religions in Kenya. So whatever you believe in, that is up to you. That is your personal business. I believe that Benin has got was in a mission. The mission was a healing crusade. Healing is in so many ways, in different ways. You can be healed not physically but emotionally by just listening to the word. That is healing. People want to see people being healed in hospitals and all that, and that's the wrong perception. Whatever somebody practices, that is up to them, because this is spirituality. Let us not separate spirituality with matters that we deal with in each and every day on earth here. So, having said that, the issue of Simba Arati and Osoro, this is the politics between UDA and ODM, or Azimio and Kenya Kwanza. Osoro is flexing his muscles. He wants to be the governor of Kisii. There are a few things that he's seeing maybe Simba Arati is not doing right. But I want to tell you that Simba Arati is firmly in the seat. He has got the president's support. He has got his party leader's support, and he has got the residents' support, the residents of Kisii, and that is the most important thing. Whatever how Simba Arati will be judged in 2027 is what development he has done for the people of Kisii. So that is very, very important. That when you are elected in the position, on any position, be it governor, be it MCA, be it senator, be it women rep, you have to provide services for the people. And that's why for the fourth estate, the media, is very, very important in trying to look at the issues and being raised in each and every county and bringing to us the right information about the war between Simba and Osoro. Remember, Kisii County, among the counties in Nyanza, it is one of the most developed counties in Nyanza. That is a fact. The development initiatives that have been initiated in Kisii, including the cancer center, is such a big thing. It is not something small. While we see other counties launching X-ray machines, Kisii County is doing marvelous in terms of devolution. I believe that Simba Arati has got the right mindset. And for the first time, I have seen a different Simba Arati away from Dagoretti or Dagoretti politics. I have seen a Simba Arati who is very, very accommodating. Simba Arati who is is able to listen to all the leaders apart from Osoro. I think Osoro at some point, I would say, is being childish. He's not being a leader. Confronting your governor. You remember, the governor is like the president of the county. Is way above an MP in terms of representation. In terms of even the funds that the governor controls, is a way above Osoro. Osoro controls a constituency that probably has got followers there. The governor and his government are supposed to provide services in this particular area. So what Osoro is doing is creating a division among the Kisii people, and that is not important. Is not something very good, and not very important for the people, for the residents of Kisii. Remember, Kisii is an agricultural area. Kisii, economically, they depend on agriculture. That is where you find your managus, chetereres, avocados, bananas, very, very early in the morning in Kikomba. They all come from, majority of those vehicles come from Kisii and Kiambu. So Kisii is central. Kisii feeds the entire Nyanza, yeah, with a lot of vegetables and a lot of food coming from that particular area. So I believe, and I strongly support Simba Arati on his stance on corruption in Kisii County. So there are issues of corruption. There are people that he laid off in the county. Those are people who would come back again. Remember what PLO said, that corruption kicks back. So whenever Simba Arati has done such a drastic move, like laying off ghost workers, some of these ghost workers could be coming from Osoro's constituency, and they are not happy about it. There are people who are probably on the payroll, who are not supposed to be on the payroll, and Simba found out that, oh, this is a waste. The only way you gauge a good governor is the kind of revenue collection that is collecting in his constituency. Mr. Leo, I want you to dig deep down into the revenues that are being collected in Kisii County at the moment, and compare that kind of revenue with any of the Azimio county.
I get you, but what we need to know is that even there's something that determines the amount of revenue collected. It is the kind of activities that are taking place. For example, I cannot be able to compare revenue collected in, let's say, a county like Nyamira, or let me say a county like Tarakaniti, with the revenue being collected in Turkana County. We need to know their GDP. What are some of the activities over there? A place like Kisii is a place that it's one of the smallest places that we have in the Nyanza. It is one of the most fertile. It is one of the most densely populated area, whereby right now in Kisii, it is hard for you to get a land that is more than 5 acres, even if you want it for development, because it is fully used. It is evergreen. Agriculturally, they are productive. So maybe we can be able to compare it with its peers. The same way we can't compare their revenue with Kisumu. Kisumu is a city. Obviously, the activities that are maybe giving some cash in Kisumu are more compared to what is in Kisii, but we'll do that comparison with their age mates. You can compare Kisii with Meru County.
Your example is you are correct and wrong at the same time, because when you talk about a county like Kisumu, a country like Nyandarua, the GDP of Nyandarua is bigger than Kisumu. Kisumu is the third largest city in Kenya. Its revenue, in terms of GDP, it's number 4. in Kenya. You can imagine that Kisumu, what have they been doing wrong? Kisumu does not have industries that are going on or new things that they have initiated at the moment. The revenue collection in Kisumu, they have not automated it like what we have in Kisii. So in Kisii, they could be they are brought in. Let's say the cancer center that they have brought in, the children's hospital that they have brought in. That is what is bringing revenue. The governors need. It is not about the land. It is about the mindset of the governor that we elect. The projects that is going to initiate are most important. So if you come from a county where they depend on women collecting firewood as a source of revenue, like my county, Omabay, where the people are collecting revenue and the county government is collecting money from these traders who are only trading on firewood, you would not compare to Kisii County. That is something that it is on the mindset of the kind of governor that you are electing. For example, the cancer center is generating almost 100 million. 100 million. So look at that kind of revenue collection. It is the projects that you initiate in your particular county is
Let
what.
me read for you the GDP, maybe just briefly, because if you look, Nairobi County is having the highest GDP in among the counties in Kenya, but this one is self-explanatory. Nairobi is the capital of all the businesses that we're having in this country. Secondly is Kiambu. Kiambu is an extension of Nairobi. That one can also explain to you that. And actually, most of the parts, most of the residents of Nairobi, most of the people working in Nairobi reside in Kiambu. If you go from Githurai, the other side, you're in Kiambu. This other side, if you go to those places, you know what, and they work in Nairobi. Followed by Nakuru. Nakuru, I think, is also enjoying the agricultural. You know, Nakuru is having things like Naivasha. When we talk of Naivasha, you know, the flowers and the exports that are from that place. Kiambu is also having some exports. That is the tea and coffee. And this one should also have to favor Kisii, is also growing tea and coffee. Number 4 is Mombasa. Number 5 is Nyandarua. I think Nyandarua also the cash crops and whatever. Followed by Machakos. Machakos County is the one that is having almost the highest number of industries. Most industries are in Machakos. Look at the cement manufacturing and all those kind of things. Most of them are in Machakos. Then we have Narok County. I think this one is also boosted by some sort of tourism and such kind of things. Kisumu, number 8, Nyeri, Kakamega, Meru, Bungoma, Murang'a. Kisii is number 14 after Murang'a, followed by Uasin Gishu. I don't know why Uasin Gishu is number 15, yet agriculturally, Uasin Gishu is doing well. I've got so many agricultural activities than even Kisumu. I expected it to be ahead. Uasin Gishu, Bomet, Elgeyo Marakwet, Kericho. Let me just stop there. Those are some of the top counties that are having some better GDP.
You get a clear picture of what the GDP means and what politics has done to most of these counties. So the counties that are very political and the counties that are engaged in development, you'll find them way up there. The countries that are not engaged in development, they are way below there. So if you're a county like Siaya, I know Nabaya, you come from Siaya, perhaps you would have told us what's number Siaya is which number in that particular in what that particular.
Siaya is number 30, and you'll find that majorly these are places whereby they don't have like most economic activities. It's number 30 after Migori. You know, there is
The only economic activity that goes on in Siaya is politics.
I think that one. What about number last is Isiolo, Samburu, Lamu, Tana River, Marsabit, Mandera, Wajir, Garissa, West Pokot. What do you say about those other counties? Vihiga, Tarakaniti, 36, Turkana, 35, Laikipia, 34.
Look at Turkana. That is a semi-arid area. Another area that is affected by politics and conflict. Or you don't understand that is where that.
What about Tarakaniti? Is number 36.
Other areas is governance. Other areas is the kind of leaders that we've been electing. But majorly, when you look at the list that you have read there, the list that read there is not just the GDP. It's the politics that they have been playing for the longest time. When you play good politics, when you elect good leaders, you expect development. That's what I'm trying to say. It depends on where you are politically affiliated. Let me just inform you that when you elect, when Anyang' Nyong'o was elected, Anyang' Nyong'o's predecessor did not do much. But today, when you go to Kisumu, you say, "Hey, Kisumu is developed. Kisumu is doing something." People can see something happening because of the politics and the kind of leader that you elect. So majorly, it is the politics, and by and large, sometimes it is the kind of leader that will be elected. But that is informed again by the politics of the people. So if the people practice decent politics, like in Kisii, I want to give you an example because Kisii is a neighbor. When an MP, and that's why they don't recycle most of their leaders. When an MP in a particular constituency does not develop the road, or the residents stop him there and tell him, we are not electing you back because of this particular road. And we don't care whether you are from party X or B or X or Y, we are not going back because of this road. Because this road is so important to us economically, to take our nyanya, to take our kitungu to the market. We will not elect you. When you go to Siaya, you'll find the same road, the same kind of people, the same political party, but the resident will be clapping that we are electing you to this particular position simply because you are in this political party. That is the difference.
Another question on that, maybe not to disagree with you, but I want you to maybe make us understand. We know problem is normally individuals, because what we've been seeing in this country is this: we are having the same politicians. What they do is changing party. For example, if you go to some of these constituencies, somebody was elected maybe in a party. For example, let me use those people from Nyanza, from ODM. The same member maybe did not do something, then the member in the next election will have to go to another party. Come to Nairobi politics, we normally have, at the end of the day, we normally have the same candidate. So the only thing they do, they change parties. So do you think the people, the leaders are the problem? They have some leadership problem, or the problem is their political parties?
Can you repeat your question?
I was asking you, you'll find that most of the leaders that we elect in our constituencies, we normally have same leaders, but they keep on changing their political parties. So if maybe a leader, for example, was elected on Wiper, he fails to work. Next time there's a party, this party wave, there's a party that is going to come, maybe called PDP or what, the same leader will shift from Wiper to PDP. Do these people need to be voted because they've changed their political parties?
This is my opinion.
Yes.
When a leader changes from party X to party B, it means that they didn't believe in the political ideology of party X. When they are moving to party Y, it means that they have got a strong opinion of that particular party is the vehicle that is going to sort is re-election or election. So that is an individual opinion based on so many factors. And if one of the factors could be management of political party, but if another factor would be that majority of the people in that particular area are affiliated to this political party, and that's why I am swapping, because we've seen happening a lot of times. that you
Yeah.
cannot win in Rift Valley. You cannot win a seat if you're not in UDA. In Nyanza, the same. Your chances are very, very narrow to win any particular seat if you're not in ODM.
Yeah.
So this is now party politics. Are the people or the residents looking at policies? No. They are looking at now politics beyond policies, beyond development, beyond what this person can bring. So that is the difference. That's why I brought in Kisii as having a very unique kind of representation. They have almost everybody.
So in that case, because we are here not only to talk politics, and maybe we are also here to come up with solution. Do you think Kenya is ready for this? All these political, we are not yet mature for these political parties, because the political parties in Kenya, it is evident that they're being used as vehicles to win elections. If today somebody tells you that the members that we have in parliament and the Senate and the governors in the central, let me give example, Central and Rift Valley were the same members that we had in Jubilee. So does it mean, and they just shifted, some shifted from Jubilee and they went to UDA. So the ones who are wise enough to shift from Jubilee to UDA made it to parliament. But the ones who still slept, people like Ngujiri, who did not move to UDA, lost it. So if you're asked in your humble opinion, should we just leave alone these things called political parties, then we now allow citizens now to start choosing individuals?
Well, Leo, do you want me to answer that?
To answer that one quickly, I want to bring in, I've seen Washira,
Yeah,
so that he can also say hi and say something here because of
things other new panelists there. Now, just to answer you quickly, I want to give you a reference of Republican and Democrat Party in the U.S. You find that the Republican Party and the Democrat Party are not built on quicksand like the parties that we have in Kenya. The political parties that we have in Kenya are built on quicksand. They are parties that are built to get power, and they are parties that are built on tribal foundations. So a Jubilee is a tribal foundation in Central. ODM is another tribal foundation that you can trace its roots in Nyanza. Wiper is a tribal foundation that you'll trace its roots in Ukambani. So those are the major political parties that are in Kenya that are tribal based. Although nationally, they also want to have the national outlook and have representation in other regions. So these political parties, one, they're tribal. Second, if you ask somebody what does the Wiper Party stand for, even if I ask the panelists here today to tell me what the Wiper Party stands for and why they are not in Wiper, they will not tell you what the Wiper Party stands for. So people get into these political parties. People, my community, the Luo, will follow Raila and not the ODM party. They'll follow Raila because when you when you look at how parties have been changing, parties have been how these political leaders have changed political parties for the longest time, from LDP, NDP, Ford Kenya, NAC, to even KANU, and now ODM, Kalonzo, ODM Kenya, to now Wiper Democratic Party from KANU. They have been changing and changing shape because they want to maintain tribal-based politics. Is the tribal-based politics good for our country? The answer is no. The answer is no. We are now segregating ourselves. We are talking about a united Africa, yet back at home, we have divided ourselves into small tribal segments. Why Africa cannot compete in the global market? Because we have got these tiny little countries like Kenya trying to compete with countries in Europe. We have got these tiny little economies that are trying to compete with countries that have got large economies. Look at if we had a country called East Africa. Look at the economy and the army. The army, they would be respected. They would be respected. They would be, Africa one day will talk about trying to set a naval base or trying to set a military base in the US. Africa. When are we dreaming of setting a military base, for example, in another country? In another country. So we are way behind, divided on small tribal politics, and which is not important at all, and which cannot help our country. The political parties, if you ask me, it should wind up. Azimio is good enough. It has got all the political parties in. Let Azimio take it on with Kenya Kwanza as a political entity. So that way, we have got only two options to choose from. Otherwise, we need to avoid mediocrity. Mediocrity seems like parties like Tip Tip. Parties like Kalem started one called Tip Tip. What does that party stand? It is just nothing. And people started starting these political parties when they saw that in the Kenyan constitution, if you have a political party, you'll be funded by the taxpayers' money. Yeah, depending on the number of people that you will bring in parliament or in the county assemblies. So these small political parties, they have got no chance of even getting a funding, because the big players are ODM, UDA, and the Wiper Party, and now Jubilee by extension. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let me welcome Washira. Washira, welcome to Afrik TV. So this is just an open political talk here. We just discuss matters Kenya. So among the other things, we heard a story of what is happening in the county of Kisii. We've been having some conflict between the governor and Osoro, who is is also eyeing the same seat. We're still having 3 years to elections, and we're already seeing some drama happening here and there. And it is not only in Kisii. If you go to Kiambu, the other day we saw the leader of majority being heckled. And the reason why the leader of majority is being heckled, because the people who develop interest, the leader of majority want to become the governor of Kiambu. Wamuchomba, who is the member of parliament, Githunguri, also eyeing the same seat. And they're now seen to be fighting Wamatangi, and Kimani Ichungwa is also seen to be fighting Wamachomba. So everybody is trying to gain some relevance. So how is this one affecting the voters or the residents in these counties? Because you see the politicians are engaging in politics, so people keep on having some supremacy battles, who is more relevant than the other one. So is this one really healthy for our politics and development?
Yeah, so I'm so happy to be part of this conversation. You guys can hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll start by, there are 2-3 things I want to throw in a spanner in the works. So when it comes to central Kenya, I come from Nyeri.
Yeah.
So, all this, there's going to be more. We haven't seen it yet. So there's a battle of supremacy between who is going to be the kingpin and all that rubbish between Gachagua and Uhuru Kenyatta, who has left the scene. And then that's number one. Number two, the battle between, if something power gets into your head, which is what Ichungwa is dealing with right now. He has power in his head, and it has blown his mind. And he's being used. That's my number two. Number three is, at the end of the day, remember there's also a conversation about, which was invented by I don't know who, about this Kiharu MP.
Actually, and Ndindi Nyoro, possibility of Nyoro replacing Gachagua in 2027.
Yeah. So it's too long a journey. It's a marathon here. And the marathon of nonsense of instead of us focusing in Mount Kenya, and that's why Ruto has to be. But the caveat, I have to be very careful. My caveat is Ruto is not my president. Yeah, he is not. So when I speaking that caveat, please just bear that in mind.
It's
So
okay. It's opinion,
yeah. So the thing with what is going on in Mount Kenya is they realize they lied to the Mount Kenya people. And the Mount Kenya people have opened their eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, and now the hustler, whoever. I'm not saying that every single Mount Kenya person is a hustler, and not everybody else in the country is not a hustler. No, but you lied to people, but then you're coming back now to see because figures speak words.
Yeah.
I mean, we have over 3 million votes in Mount Kenya. That's why they keep on coming there.
Yes.
Then I'm seeing some other elements of now somebody saying, there's Mount Kenya West and East.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, Mount Kenya East, which is the Meru, Tarakaniti, and everywhere, they feel sidelined. And now they started complaining.
Mm-hmm.
So it's divided, which is what I think Ruto is willing to do, to divide that mountain, the Mount Kenya region, before he goes. That's why he's now going to Homa Bay every single other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I
Okay,
want
somebody,
to...
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to
proceed.
throw a spanner in the works.
Okay, do that.
Yeah, let me throw a spanner in the works if you allow me.
I allow you to do that.
Yeah, I'm looking at Nyanza now, where we have, I don't know whether all of us saw this story, but Tom Ogenda throwing cash to school children.
Yeah, I have the video with me. Maybe it's true. Yeah, it happened.
So where are we headed? That's my question. That's a spanner in the works I wanted to throw. I mean, I've been part of this conversation, listening from behind the scenes. But who would do this to school-going children?
No, we are headed to a situation whereby every politician wants to prove their worth. So you'll find that maybe you try this way, it is not working. So you try any possible way that can make you relevant, that can make people remember you, that can make people remember your name. And as we are moving currently, there's something that happened when Raila declared that he's going for AU that has really taken people back to the drawing board. I was having some panelists here who told me that what is happening, Raila has declared he wants to go to AU. And if you look at the kind of energy that the ruling party, that is the president and his party, have put in Raila's candidature, it tells you that there are people who are ready and determined to ensure that Raila gets that seat, not because they love him, but because they know his exit is going to give them an easy ride. Then secondly, there's something that I also want to know your opinion, because they're saying what is happening. William Ruto is now telling the people of Mount Kenya that in 2027, you'll have to follow me, or if you don't want to follow me, I can still do without you. That is why William Ruto is going to Nyanza, appealing to the people of Nyanza.
Correct.
William Ruto is going to Western, and what he's telling the people of Western that you people need to unite. So what will happen when these people unite, because he's having the Wetangula and the Mudavadi or what, he can decide to say that I want to get a deputy president from Western. Then for the people of Nyanza, he will easily tell them that, you look, I made Raila the president of Africa. So what do you think will stop the people of Nyanza from voting for him?
Yep.
So what Raila will have to do, he will, instead of saying that I endorse Kalonzo, he will remain silent. And once he remains silent, Ruto will have an opportunity to go there by himself and tell them, I made Raila the president of Africa, so now vote for me. So it's quite a challenging time for the people of Mountain. I don't know. I want to get your opinion. I don't know how the Mountain are going to get back their initial power and marshal their numbers in one basket and be able to tell Ruto that if you try to turn back, then you lose it.
I love your analysis. Honestly, thank you. I do love your analysis because it makes a lot of sense. And for once, you see, Ruto did what he did. It's like it was a marriage of convenience. Ruto knew very well he could not get into that position. I don't care, because I don't think he actually garnered the votes that he did in the Mountain. That's a story for another day. But now Ruto has realized the hustlers, the so-called hustlers in the Mountain, are no longer with him. So what he's dealing with now Ruto is a divide and rule dictator.
I get you.
Yeah. So now what he has decided is go to Nyanza, put Nyanza in disarray, and then combine the same thing you just said. Actually, you use a very good word. Go to Western and tell them, oh, you know what? It's a carrot and stick method. So I'll go to Western and I'll tell you, I'll give you a vice president. The same, exactly what you said. And then I'll go to Nyanza. That's why he's in Homa Bay now these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that rigmarole. So Central, to answer your question, is already split.
Okay.
The Mount Kenya region is already split. Now we are competing, busy, what I would call biting each other. Yeah, so we cannot even agree on who has a spoon or who has a pot. Yeah, so we are so messed up to an extent, and he's doing that intentionally. So in terms of Central, Mount Kenya region, when I say Central, Mount Kenya region in general, the Eastern region is messed up because they cannot agree on their leader, and then the Western region, which is where I come from, it's also messed up. Now we are busy between Gachagua, whether it's Gachagua, whether it's Nyoro, whether Kenyatta, the former president, is a kingpin. That nonsense about being a kingpin is a narrative that has been brought up by Ruto himself. And we are going to fight, and we are going to lose it. So for me, it's painful. But then, Ruto has his cards laid down. This guy is not a joke. Yeah. So I hope I answered your question.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I just want to ask you this: Wachira is saying that, you see, Central is divided, and if it is not divided, Central is in that process of dividing. There was already some rifts, and the forces are now working, and it is shaking. So at the end of the day, when it's shaking from different edges, what is going to happen? We are not going to see it intact, but we are going to see it separate. How it is going to separate is not yet known. So do you agree that, number one, Central is divided or in the process of divided? Then secondly, do you think that Central will still vote Ruto even if he abandons, maybe he doesn't give them number two and reaches out to Nyanza and Western? Will Central comfortably ignore their leaders, of which in this case I know people from Mount Kenya will have to produce a presidential candidate? It's a debate that is also going on. They will ignore their leaders and follow Ruto, knowing that right now we don't have a specific person who speaks for Central, because in Central everybody currently speaks for themselves. From the comment section I can see my Nafe is saying that I come from the mountain. These guys seem to be talking out of emotions every time. Kwani anafikiria sisi mountain ni ng'ombe. Stop speaking on mountain kama sisi. So kama sisi ni ng'ombe. So in other words, in Central currently everybody is speaking for. That means in Central currently everybody is speaking for himself, meaning they don't have a specific leader who can be able to speak on behalf of them. So Jeff, do you think in 2027 Central will still ignore their leaders the way they ignored Uhuru Kenyatta and vote William Ruto, even if William Ruto will reach out to Western and Nyanza and fail to give them number two? And lastly, do you agree the way Wachira is saying that Central is divided or is in the process of dividing itself?
That is what you wish. But in Swahili we say, when you see brothers fighting, take a fork, go to the farm and do some digging. There is nothing which stops brothers and sisters from fighting from within.
Moderator. Sorry. Moderator.
Okay, proceed.
Yeah, please.
Okay. Jeff, you can proceed.
Yes, please. So when people are fighting, people who belong to the same house, does not mean that they are splitting. No. I haven't seen anybody saying that we don't have a leader in Central Kenya. Already we have the deputy president, the second in command. So anybody saying that Central is suffering from the gap of leadership does not know what he is talking about. And as I told you, I haven't seen anybody heckle the president or the deputy president. So whatever conflicts, the battles of supremacy that are there are between or among the small leaders, the members of parliament, the senators, the MCAs, which is normal. That happens and is happening almost in every county as people are looking for positions. That is politics. But does that mean that these people hate each other? No. These people are only looking for political space, but they don't hate each other. They are still brothers. If anybody tries to come in between them, you will see how they'll behave. They will come together.
But Jeff, when you talk of political space, if we are three of us here, I'm looking for a political space. Muzalendo is looking for space, and you're looking for space. The fact is that I'll have in my space, I'll have people behind you. Muzalendo will have people behind him, and you'll have people behind you. So if you're going for an elective position, I'll have my 10 people, you'll have your 20, Muzalendo will have his 30. So those ones are how many? Those ones are 60. But if I'm not looking for a space and we are now united behind one person, this person will have 60. So why do we say it is division? It is division because instead of allowing one person from our ring to have 60, we separated, we divided it into 10, 30,
and
and 20.
What you are not telling me, they have divided, and where have they gone? Or where have they taken their support?
That is why I'm asking you this question.
They are solidly behind the president. They are solidly behind the deputy president. Whatever other differences they are having, it's unfortunate that in Kenya or in Africa, once we are done with one general election, we start thinking of which other position will I occupy next. And
That
we
is,
start campaigns.
that is
And we
being
start
ambitious. It's not a problem.
and start campaigns immediately. Having a vision is okay, but how do you actualize your ambition? Do you do it at the detriment of your electorates? Because what is expected right now is that these leaders should be busy implementing their manifesto or helping the government to implement the manifesto, the promises they promise to the people, so that after the 5 years, they can go back to the electorate and tell the people, these are the things that we promised, that if you give us an opportunity, we are going to implement them and we have fulfilled our promises. Therefore, give us this and that position. So the problem is we polarize our nation economically. Instead of focusing to work, we focus on what I want to become and start campaigning immediately, and that makes our nation to lag behind. So I wish we can cool down the political temperatures. We stop the supremacy battles and focus to work. Having said that, anybody out there who thinks that in Mount Kenya there is no leadership, we already have leadership. We have second in command. The second in command.
So
the deputy
this is the question that I asked. I think that is well answered. The second question was, now that the president is trying to reach out Nyanza, he's also reaching out Western. He didn't get as much votes in Western as he expected. It's a fact. Same to Nyanza. So in case he succeeds in uniting Western, succeeds in getting through Nyanza, that is in case, then come 2027, he says, he goes to people of Nyanza and tell them that I want you people to support me simply because I made Raila the president of Africa. And maybe after succeeding in doing that, then the people of Nyanza listens to him and say, oh, that is true. We are going to support you. Then he also succeeds to unite Western and says that now I'm picking a running mate from Western. Then he now comes to Central because he's the kingpin there and tells you people that, okay, the people of Central, we are uniting this country. Do you think the people of Central will ignore their leaders who will oppose that and still vote William Ruto without having one of their own as the deputy president?
You see, Mr. Leo,
yes,
Ruto is not afraid of 2027.
Yes.
This is a genius. As much
That
as
is
you
why
guys
this is one of the being genius is reaching out to Nyanza to get those votes and getting all
listen,
Western. So I just want you to
as,
answer me directly. In case he
no,
doesn't speak or
no,
animate from Central, will the people of Central still defy
there
their
is
leaders and vote him?
there is nothing like in case. Ruto, you learn from history. President Ruto is not a betrayer. President Ruto,
There is nowhere he promised Gachagua to be a deputy president for 2 terms. He
let me
never
finish
mentioned
what I'm
that.
saying. And I'm not able, myself, I'm not able to do the
Okay,
submission
proceed.
people interjecting.
Okay, proceed.
Because it's not an argument. Okay?
I'm just
So,
giving point of
what I'm
information.
saying,
Okay.
William Ruto has a deal with the
Yes.
Central Kenya people that we are going to support him for 10 years. That's our unwritten or our an informal kind of agreement. And you know very well, and he understands very well, that politics is a game of interest. What is he giving us as the people in return? One, we look at, we're going to assess at the development that you bring to that region. Number two, the representation in his government. So far, so good. We representation from those who voted him, it can be seen by everybody. In the event that he decides that this is not going to happen, I don't think the people of Central Kenya can follow him. But this is where history is coming in. Ruto keeps his promises. And you saw how he subdivided the positions, the government positions that he had to all the people that he had promised. And that is why, as much as we may have so many other differences out there, the legacy of William Ruto is that he is able to keep political promises, which other leaders from Kenyatta, from Kibaki, Moi, Uhuru Kenyatta were not able to do that. Ruto, when he decided to follow Uhuru Kenyatta, he supported Uhuru Kenyatta 100%. When he was supporting Raila Odinga, he did it 100%. And that is why so many political leaders are comfortable supporting him, knowing that this is somebody who appreciates their effort. So therefore, I don't think that Ruto can leave 5 million people whom he is assured of to go and do guesswork. He has already tested Mount Kenya and he has seen what people of Mount Kenya can do. So I don't see him at
That is
any
good.
cost
That is
neglecting
good.
Mount Kenya
As
people.
we move on, I get you. But you know, politics changes. As maybe I go to Mzalendo, and Ruto knows very well that he can easily convince Luos to vote for him, because I've always heard the Luo leaders in their meetings saying that, you know, we are all Nilots and such kind of things. And even Orengo saying that, you know, even William Ruto that you see was in ODM, and that means ODM is in power and such kind of things. So it can never come as a surprise. So, and maybe as I bring in Zalendo, this is just a food for the thought. And maybe anybody who would want to become president should always think like this. I make an agreement with Jeff. When I am a president, Jeff is my deputy. I give him positions, like we share the government, you're my deputy. What makes Jeff thinks that now when he will become the president, what will Jeff be giving me back? Is it not that Jeff is going to benefit? Because during my time, maybe for example, during Uhuru's time, Ruto was the deputy for 10 years.
You are on air.
So what make why can't we also think in the case that now it is now Ruto's time? What was Uhuru going to benefit? Ruto benefit as a deputy president. So
You have
don't you
given
see that one as a situation whereby mwingine ananyonya sana? Anyway, that is not for today. Let us think of it.
very good example. You have given a very good example.
Yes.
Before you make me your deputy, it is because you trusted in me and what I am bringing on the table.
Yes.
So if the person whom you are giving the second position has nothing on the table, you cannot make him your deputy. So in the event that you decide to change your mind, that you are not going to give me this position, then I'll go my way. Don't
No, there's
complain.
something you didn't get me. I was asking you a situation whereby We agree with you. I'm the president. You're the
So-
deputy president. We serve 10 years.
Yes.
So in the second, now in the third term, now I'm supposed to support you. Is it so?
It's not a must. Who said?
I'm saying just listen to me. Like in the case of Uhuru and William Ruto. William Ruto benefited in Uhuru's government as a deputy. So how was now Uhuru going to benefit in William Ruto's government? I think that is why it was easy for Uhuru to say, okay, I gave you 50%. Hakuna deni. So let us go to Mzalendo. That's a story we'll talk of another day. We will look at those people who want to contest. Mzalendo, we said this thing, that Ruto is right now, William Ruto is reaching to Western. He reached to them. He managed to give them some minofu kidogo. That is why you can see Mudavadi, despite not giving anything, he gave him something to speak for. He was just investing and banking for the next election. Mudavadi did not give some money or some numbers in the basket, but alikatiwa palipanono. He's now having two positions as Musalia Mudavadi, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Prime Cabinet Secretary. We saw Wetangula. We saw the number of cabinet secretaries that have been thrown in the western part. And now, Western maybe is partly sorted. He just need to go kidogo na brush. And the lawyers are the second in numbers in this country. They are the second in numbers, according to the last census, if they can come together. Then number two, he's now reaching to his counterpart, his old friends, Luo Nyanza. The positions they've given there. How much he's working, and it seems his reaching is now almost done, because if he managed to take Raila to AU, if you even heard what the MPs said over this weekend, they were saying, si ile ingine ya chini likataa, sasa alikuwa anataka kuwa rais ya Kenya na William Ruto, sasa mimi nimeamua namweka rais wa Africa, of which if he succeeds, do you think it is easy, it will be easy for him to convince Luos, sahi baba yuko pale kwa debe, mimi nilimfanya rais pale Africa, si munipatie kura? Me, I think it is easy. Luos will give him kura. So because of that, akipiga ile hesabu ya kura ya Wajaluo na ya Waloya, then he decides now, because Luos, you are giving me kura, mnarudisha mkono mimi kupatia baba Africa. Western, I'm giving you a deputy president. Then he tells Central, mimi nitawapatia ile Mudavadi alikuwa nayo. Jeff amesema hiyo hawatapiga kura. Central will not vote. What is your opinion, Mzalendo, in case that one happens?
But I haven't said that. You are putting words in my mouth.
I'll get back to you. I'm just paraphrasing what you said. I'll get back to you, Jeff.
Not paraphrase.
No,
don't do that.
Leo, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Now, one, Ruto is a smart politician and a shrewd one, and you must know that he has outwitted his opponents in the game. He was an outsider. He came, formed the government, and is now the president.
Mzalendo, I think there you need to maybe get informed. What do you mean when you say outsider? Because we've known you
see,
a deputy president is powerful. Yes.
Let me explain myself. So,
okay.
Because an outsider means that in most, even when we were going to election in 2022,
yeah,
he was not the favorite candidate to win the election. He was not in power, like he was not in a position whereby he was being supported by the government of the day. The government of the day was Uhuru Kenyatta. Just to say that
Uhuru Kenyatta was just a single person. The government are the structures.
Yes, just like
the judiciary, the people who are at the and all of this, the parliament. He had the speakers.
Can you give me a chance to execute my point, because you're not in my brain?
No, I'm just informing you. I'm here to inform you.
You will inform me after I finish telling you what I feel. I could be wrong, I could be right, but it is your opinion to judge me out there. when Ruto fell out with Uhuru Kenyatta, we must agree at this point that they fell out with Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the president of the Republic of Kenya. So what did that mean? He did not enjoy the same privileges, apart from probably his salary. He did not enjoy the same privileges that he used to enjoy when they campaigned, when they were a pair. Is that right or wrong?
No, that is partly wrong and partly right, because
yes.
we saw him having the campaign meetings in the residence of the deputy president,
He
using
did not.
the
That
government cars.
is, Leo, I was just telling you that he did not, you agree with me, he did not enjoy the same privileges.
So which privileges, if you may like to be specific?
Privileges means that communication with his principal, who is Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Remember, these leaders were elected as a pair. Yeah,
so how was communication going to add the votes, because Uhuru Kenyatta had already lost the ground in his voting block? So how was this one going to add the votes to him?
Uhuru Kenyatta did not believe that he had lost his votes on the ground.
Ruto already knew he lost the ground. That is why actually,
listen, because you are not listening. You are talking at the same time, trying to listen to my conversation. Ruto, William Samoei Ruto fell out with Uhuru Kenyatta. The reasons are not known to me, are not known to anybody. I have not seen anybody trying to give me a good reason why these two leaders fell out. Even if I ask the Kenya Kwanza supporters like Geoffrey Mburu, he will not give me a definite answer on that particular issue. Why
because it was political.
Why they fell out is not known to so many people.
Yeah.
But the fact that they fell out, and do you agree that they fell out politically? Do you agree they fell out politically?
Let me answer you. They appeared to the public that they fell out.
It's a yes or no answer.
No, yes and
do
no
you
answer.
Agree that they fell out politically?
Can I give you an answer?
Yes.
You know, when somebody asks a question, you have in your thought process, you have to answer it and give an explanation to your answer. A complete answer doesn't need yes and no. Yes and no answer are not complete answers. Those are programmed answers. So allow me to give you a complete answer. They created a perception that they fell out. And maybe to allow you proceed, I know you've placed your point that they disagreed. He was an underdog, and maybe if you want to explain from the underdog part of it and outsider part of it, I want you to compare it with the 202 elections between Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta, who was an outsider, and how did it go? In most cases, when there is change of regime, the outsiders are always likely to win. It happened in 202.
Well,
Kibaki was an outsider.
You cannot. Each and every election comes with different challenges. If you have been in politics, you should know that each and every election cycle comes with new challenges.
Yes.
In 2002, we had a common enemy that we were removing from power. You remember? And his candidate was who? Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta.
Yes.
And he lost badly because Kenyans came together, and it was for the first time we did not look at each other in tribe. We looked at the issues and how we had lagged behind for the last 24 years. That is why that is the only reason. Listen.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute. Huh?
Jeff, I'll come back to you. I just want him to prosecute his points well. That is true. I agree with him. There was a common enemy. Then I also want him to agree that in 2022, there was also a common enemy that Kenyans were removing, and this common enemy was called dynasty. Is that one also true?
In 2022?
22. There's a common enemy called dynasty, and the
No,
candidate
no,
of the
no.
dynasty was Raila Odinga.
Let me tell you now where you lost it, because you seem to be talking in a way to suggest that this election was about dynasty
And
and
there's
Asla
Aslas.
and the
Yes,
Asla
that is true.
nation. The narrative, in each and every election, you have to come up with a narrative. In each and every election, there has to be a propaganda. In each and every election, there has to be a message that you're selling out. Now, why we miss the point, and why even Kenya Kwanza itself do not even understand that they had a very powerful message until they won the election. The message was so powerful that even Azimio, when they tried to bring the 6,000 shillings per month, it could not work, because this message was simple. The poor people are now going to sit on the table with that the rich people have been occupied. So even if you are poor, you would look at that message literally like it meant that. But did they even execute the message properly after? Did they even get back to explain to their supporters what they really meant? I think they have not done a good job on that. They have not done a good job on that. And that is why Azimio keeps on telling them, Mamba Moga mbona sahi hawapatiwi cabinet positions.
Which cannot happen, obviously.
Because of the messaging.
Yeah.
When Bidenomics, Biden, in fact, Ruto's agenda was borrowed heavily from Biden's agenda.
Yeah.
When Biden said that, the rich people, we will tax you very highly to support the poor people.
Yeah.
Yeah, to support the poor people. Republicans were up and down and saying, no way, you will not tax the companies, you will not tax our people who are earning high, so that we can support the poor Americans who are living below the poverty line. Or we cannot support your infrastructure bills and the Medicare thing, the things that you are going to help the jobless American.
Yeah.
The other part of the country did not feel comfortable with it, that political party. Now, Ruto was simply saying that, taxpayer hustlers will enjoy when I'm in government, because we will provide for you the services by taxing people heavily. What is this? He is doing. But had he said this message earlier enough, people would be comfortable and saying, okay, this was part of his agenda. He told us he's going to tax people so that the mamambogas can get affordable housing. So this is much of this is what Kenya Kwanza did in the messaging that made them win the election. We are getting back to your point that
And on that, you've added another point that maybe I'll add you a question on that so that you can combine them together. They rode on Mama Mboga and the poor, which was a good narrative. Actually, it really solved. So, do you think if William Ruto succeeds in taking Raila, whom they were saying is a dynasty, should be sent home, taking Raila to AU, will this one work against him? Will people not ask him that, okay, you told us that these people are the dynasties, we don't need them. Now, instead of kuchukua mtoto wa Mama Mboga upeleke AU, we have so many bright and able Kenyan. Why did you have to campaign for that dynasty? Does it mean that you people are together? Do you think it will work against him in the next elections?
No, first, people who are informed or people who read politics deeply know that Ruto is not taking Raila to the AU. People who read politics also know that Raila his heart is not in AU. People who read politics know that this is the hands of the Western nation. People who know politics know that this deal is already sealed. People who know politics know that Raila can make a comeback, even with his position as AU Commission Chair. It does not stop him from resigning the way we are being told that he can resign. He can resign from his position and come and vie for the presidency of Kenya. So in 2027, Raila might be having a very big comeback in 2027. You might be seeing a Baba while you're away kind of politics in 2027 coming in. He will keep quiet and strike at the best moment. For now, the Western nation and the investors, the people who have really invested money in Kenya, and they are called who? Jimmy Wanjigi used to tell us they're called who? They have a name here. The people who control the economy of Kenya. There are very few people who control the economy of Kenya. Those are the people who decide who wants to be who becomes what in Kenya today. So when those people decide that this is the right moment, or William Ruto, it is time to go, utaenda nyumbani. But for now, let you not be cheated that Raila Odinga is applying for a position that he wants. Raila Odinga is being pushed out of Kenyan politics for one reason. Kenya is very, very strategic for the development partners. Kenya is also strategic for the stability of Africa and the Western nation, because once we don't have a stable government, we have Al-Shabaab and things like that coming in our neighbors and all that. So strategically, Kenya must be stable to accommodate the Western nation, must be stable to accommodate the business community. That is why it is important that Ruto strategically has won the hearts of Africa and the whole world in a manner of how he represents himself. So on the global stage. So this is any agenda that he puts up there, it will be supported by the African nation. Thank you.
Mburu, you wanted to say something. I can allow you to do that.
Yeah, I just wanted to invite my TikTok viewers to subscribe to Afric24. I can see we are so many people here watching and listening on my TikTok. Please, if you are there, please join. I have already put the link there on my TikTok side. You can also subscribe to Afric24 in the YouTube, and that is where we need you most. Afric24, we bring you all kinds of stories from politics, from relationship, love, and church matters, spiritual matters, everything. You can find it in Afric24. As long as you are from Africa and those others who would like to support by subscribing to Afric24, you'll be in a position to listen to us and to watch different kinds of videos. So you are most welcome. Just subscribe and God bless you. Yes. Leo, I didn't want to say, I just wanted to welcome people to watch. But I just wanted to touch one thing about the politics of our nation. That about Raila Odinga going to AU. Yes, there is a very high possibility. But the question which is coming to my mind is, why did Raila Odinga had to fly to Germany, to the school where he purported that he got his documents from? There has been a narrative that the education credentials of Raila Odinga are questionable. Now, the big question is he going to navigate the AU system if his documents are not credible? It's very easy to navigate the Kenyan system, but what about the African Union system? So I am thinking, as as a psychologist, because as a psychologist, what we were taught to do is not to read people's mind, but to interpret people's behaviors. What is coming to my mind? Why did he had to travel to Germany, to the school where I used to? It is just to create kind of a picture that I went to the university. It means there is something fishy there. There is something fishy. So, Raila, by experience, he is very, very qualified. He is very qualified. Good year is telling me that Jeff, because Raila had to prove his qualifications. Yes, exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. He had to go to Germany because he wanted to prove that actually I went to the university, because people have been questioning his education. But now it is not about going to the university. It is about producing that certificate to show that actually you went through the system and you finished. So I can say Raila Odinga is qualified by experience to handle any position in the world, but academically, I think he might face there a stubborn block. That is what I have to say about that. About coming back to the Kenyan politics, I think right now Raila Odinga, his age does not allow him to serve as the AU chair, then come back to the Kenyan politics. As I said, a good dancer knows when to exit the stage. And this is the right time for Raila Odinga to exit the stage of politics in a very polite way, and in a way that is dignified to him, and also to seal his political legacy. But if he goes and comes back, I think it would be a very good thing for him. So I think it's the right time.
You've asked a question. There's somebody who wants to give you a response here. Just listen to this. I'll give you that response.
All those requirements, express requirements for you to be the AU Commission Chair?
I've seen a lot of misinformation going around. And I think by now Kenyans should know that you don't need to suffer misinformation. Just Google. And if you Google, you will see that all that is just, it's neither here nor there. First of all, Raila has vied for president of this country severally. And to vie, you must submit your documents, including academic documents, and they must be verified. No one has ever doubted, because they are all legitimate. Okay. Secondly, in terms of those qualifications, they are so wide that it even includes qualifications like social sciences, or related field. Anytime anybody tells you social sciences or related field, you know one related field is a natural science. So if, for example, as a lawyer, you would be a social scientist. But if somebody says, social science or a related field, then a doctor would actually fit in, because a doctor belongs to the natural sciences. So that discussion is neither here nor there. Thirdly, in terms of qualifications, if you look at the clustering, you'll see that there are 7 clusters. The academic cluster is only 1. But then there are other clusters like, experience, language, skills, leadership, competence, co-competence, functional competence, and they're all ranked, as the lawyers say, pari passu. It has not been suggested that any one overrides the other. But more importantly, there's an injunction there that any of those requirements, the requirements are only indicative. They're not determinative.
Okay.
And all those requirements are subject to change by what they call the role manager. So for me, the question of qualification does not arise at all.
Okay.
Raila is not qualified. He's overqualified.
Okay.
Yes.
Finally, on this,
I think Dr. Otiende Amolo has responded to that concern, and that one is
He has not. He has not. He has not.
Unless you did not listen.
That is how you wish. But this is what I have to say.
Jeff,
We all
you read that thing. The document is
Let me
there.
finish here because it
I'm
won't
the one
do
who
it.
was, I'm the one who was talking.
It won't do you any harm. It won't.
I'm
It
the one who was
won't cause
talking.
any.
Allow me to finish asking
Okay.
you or guiding you, then you proceed. I'm the one who was
Okay.
talking. If you did read the requirements in that schedule, even apart from those other more explanation that has been told by Otiende Omolo, there is something that is called determinative. Determinative simply means it determines whether you can buy or not. And there are some that have just been put there. But apart from that, what even somebody who doesn't understand simple language is any other related. So any other related means it is not closed, it is opened, and that any other related has not been specified. I have senators in the Senate of this country who did they graduated with what is called degree in Bible studies, a course that they did for only 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So this person is seated in the same Senate or in the same seat with somebody who produced a degree that took them over 4 years, and with them they did Bible studies for only 3 weeks. So in that case,
What are you
these
talking
things.
about?
I'm
Is there
now talking about. Sorry.
is there a degree for 3 weeks?
Look
Where?
for this somebody called Ndwiga or what, the Embu senator. Look at where his qualifications. Just Google or go to the parliament record. Then come back to me.
There is no academic degree. 3 weeks can only be a conference certificate that
That is what is that. He never left the country to go and do. He was the country said that he did. He was never there for even more than a month.
That tells you, and that answers what I was saying, that Kenya is very corrupt. It doesn't matter whether you're educated or not. You can buy a certificate and then you bribe some of people there just to say you are qualified. But now the question is, why is it that there has been a question about Raila academic credentials and not many
Who
other
asked
leaders?
the question? People. The question has always been the tracks of people who don't understand.
Why don't we question other people? Why is it that people only question about Raila's academic credentials?
Because they're interested in Raila.
Where there is smoke, there is fire. So let us wait and see. However, I would like you. I don't want to dwell on that.
Jeff,
I don't want to
I
dwell on
think we
that.
have to say that Kenyans are so. I don't want to use an abusive word because.
Anyway,
why would you question somebody's academic credentials when this person have been in that field for the last 5 years, and you want to say you question your wife that are you fertile? And this lady has given birth for 5 children, and you keep on questioning is she fertile? So that question is irrelevant.
You see, Leo, there is something you are missing, and that is called omission. You seem not to understand that there is a reason why people go through the academic system. It is not just a matter of certificate. There is a reason why these qualifications are very important in leadership. So they are not asking for this just for the sake of it. It's so that they can know that you are able not only to talk about things, but you are able to look at things beyond the lip service. You are able to understand things and think logically and understand matters and articulate them and be able to make prudent decisions, not just for Kenya, but for Africa.
So let me ask you, you are doing an interview in your organization. So between you and the interviewing panel and the Kenyans on TikTok, who should be asking for the academic qualifications?
What are you asking?
Okay, there is an interview somewhere. For example, like the case we normally have the presidential election. These qualifications are checked by IEBC and such a body. So between IEBC and Kenyans on TikTok or Kenyans on Facebook or Kenyans on YouTube, who should be asking for the academic qualifications? Who should Raila take the qualifications to? Kenyans on TikTok or the relevant bodies? Because we've not had any relevant body complaining. We've not had the IEBC telling us that Raila doesn't have the academic qualifications. The AU, I think for Raila to vie for this thing, he even engaged William Ruto, he even engaged Obasanjo, he even engaged, yesterday he was with the Kikwete, he even engaged almost the most important people over there. Mzalendo, I've told you, Mzalendo have also dragged the Western countries in it. So do you think these people, Kenyans on TikTok and Kenyans on YouTube, knows everything and are wiser than the people who made that decision that we are now supporting him?
You don't become qualified just by the fact that people have said you are. It's a system. It's a process. If you want to know if Geoffrey, like Theodore was saying, went through a school, easily you can verify that, which has been so hard for Raila Odinga, for people to verify that actually this guy went through the system.
Because he didn't study in Kenya, and people don't have money to go to Germany to check on that. Let us close on that and move on. I see Mzalendo want to say something.
I just say
Let us not discuss.
it is suspicious that Raila Odinga saw it prudent to visit the university where he used to school.
No, Raila went for. I think you know why he went there. He went. He didn't went to visit the school. It was just by the way. There was a forum that he went for on Africa. It was on a democracy forum. Huh? Like if today you visit your village, obviously, if you're somebody who cares, you have to pass through your primary school and check if they're having some desk, buy them some lunch. Raila didn't go specifically to visit the school. He went for a forum on democracy, of which he gave a keynote address over there. Then, since it was near where he studied, common sense dictates that. And I normally encourage people, when you go home, please go back to your primary school. If you found that the pit latrine that they were using, that you are using there is the one that is still being used, and God has blessed you, and you fail to do something, then you are calling upon curses. Replace these toilets. There are some people when they visit their former school, the same pit latrine they used 20 years ago are the same pit latrines in those schools, and they're not doing anything. Visit these classes, check on the students, check on the teachers. You might find a student mwenye akona trouser imewekwa kiraka, and you also use the trouser ya kiraka. Do something to this guy. So it is good to visit your former schools. I know Mzalendo does that when he goes back to the school. Even buy them a ball and give them. So let us proceed. Yes.
We still need that certificate. We still need to verify that certificate. And this gentleman, Dr. Miguna, visited the university, the same place where Raila went. And he went,
Miguna has never been outside Canada. That is a great lie. That somebody who was deported can't be outside Canada.
He was filmed.
Where did you get this story?
Yeah, ask him. Miguna can't. Ask me, say. Miguna can't even get outside his house.
Stop the propaganda.
It's propaganda.
You people, we need the certificate.
No, Boro, I think you are now bringing in propaganda.
Right now,
Miguna is having some personal issues with Raila beyond what we know.
Moro told us to Google. I tried to Google, and there was nothing substantial that can show that clearly.
You can go to the university's website. You'll find Raila's name listed as among the keynote alumni there.
Anyway, let nobody be emotional out there.
Yeah.
We are just.
I just want to remind Raila went. It was on 18th. He went for what is called the World Forum on the Future Democracy, Tech, and Humankind in Berlin. So
thank you.
If he visited that event, that is why he left the country. So for the people who maybe did not know,
viewers just know we are just enjoying politics.
Yeah.
There is nothing personal about these things. We're just talking what people talk out there, and that makes politics anyway. But at the end of the day, we've been in a position to understand our leaders. And my prayer, as I said, is that Raila may qualify and go to AU. That's my prayer. I want to go. I want Raila to go. That has been my stand. I want Raila to go to AU because that will help Kenya. It will help Kenya even to get investors, even for him to be an ambassador for the nation. It's a good thing for Kenya. It's also good thing for him because right now he's a statesman. He's our elder. Politically, we can say we have nurtured Raila Odinga. He has faced many challenges. He has a lot of experience. So let us not just see him as trouble. He can offer something to the nation of Kenya. And even if he becomes the president, I don't see any big deal. It should reach a point whereby we should embrace one another. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he can become a president of Kenya and even perform better than we expected. So it's a matter of we putting aside our political differences, our tribal differences, and we start embracing each other. I have been telling Kenyans, don't go out there and die for William Ruto. Don't go out there and die for Raila Odinga or Uhuru Kenyatta. You see these people right now, they are campaigning for each other. William Ruto, the one we were criticizing the other day, he is the one going from one nation to the other, calling one president to the other, campaigning for Raila Odinga. Yet somebody, a foolish guy out there, went to fight with the police that they are fighting for Raila Odinga. It's a defeat logic. So I tell Kenyans, let us be wise. Let us not just become emotional about politics. It is never that serious, but we take it to another level. And that has costed lives. It has costed our economy, which is not good. Yes. We should learn something out of this. That just yesterday they were fighting. Today, I heard Raila Odinga saying now even the housing bill is good. I mean, that is politics. So, yeah, that is how it is. It is what it is.
Mzalendo,
Well,
crown
I didn't want to dwell much on Raila's qualification because it is something that has been said out there by so many people. There are those who support him, but he knows that he's qualified. You wouldn't apply for a job that you are not qualified. So Raila is very much qualified. As a Kenyan, what we need to do is to rally behind one of our own. That is the only devil that we know at the moment. So just like in athletics, in football, when we are going out there, out of the country to participate, we don't look at each other in terms of tribe. When a Kalenjin wins a marathon, he wins it for Kenya. When Raila gets the position as the AU Commission Chair, he gets it for the country Kenya. And we wish him well because that will be his salary. He will not share it with us. It is his salary and his family. But he builds in a portfolio. It adds to his portfolio. It adds to, it improves the country's image, both regionally and internationally. One thing I know Raila will do a good job. If qualification really matters, then I think maybe he can settle for something else within the commission. So there are so many positions in that commission. But remember, what people are not looking at is Raila is looking at also his exit in local politics. Is looking at a way to exit the political scene honorably. And that is the best way he can exit the political scene without much humiliation that would have come from in losing maybe in 2027. So you can see this is a Raila Odinga who is crafting his future. And it is very, very simple that is looking at that term is renewable. Once you are elected, you are renewable. It's renewable for another term. So he's looking for 2 terms. So 1 term takes him up to how many years? It's 4 years. It is 4 years. So it starts in 2025. That takes him up to 2029. Then automatic renewal takes him up to 2032. So, I mean, for him, he has a future. and the future is very, very bright for his political career and for his status as a statesman and a Pan-Africanist.
I think that is really, 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 really great. I think we'll have to wrap it. It was a great conversation, and at least we've learned some things, and we've also gave some predictions, and we've also shaped some opinions. So if you really liked this, you need to subscribe to Afrique so that you can always be getting more of this. Ramesu Yegon, you've not confirmed with me if you've subscribed. Maybe you are watching through Mtembei, and the next day maybe you might not find us there. So I will really want you people to confirm if you've subscribed. So ensure you subscribe to Afrique TV on YouTube so that whenever we are live, you'll always get notified. Nimeona watu wengi. Geoffrey Ruto, I want you to subscribe and bring other people. I said that soon I'm going to thank you very much, Remesu, for confirming that you've subscribed. So just leave a comment there. No, I'll go through the comments. I'll know where you are commenting from. You can watch from any channel, but I know where you are commenting from. Geoffrey Ruto, tafadhali confirm your subscription. I know you are a fully paid member in Mtembei. Sisi hatujafika huko, so we only need your subscription. There is no amount that is going to be deducted from you monthly to be a paid member. I know you are a paid member in Mtembei, and I can see the star is still there. So help us also. Yeah. Yegona amesha subscribe. Goodia is already there. Josiah, tafadhali confirm if you've subscribed. Douglas Kibobong, confirm with me if you've subscribed. And also tell your friends, tell them once they've subscribed, they can go and watch any video. They type your name there. I'll be sampling some of these names. Mwambie tu, once you've subscribed to Afrique, tafadhali, I'm the one who referred you. If you are a Yegon, mwambie andike tu hapo Yegon. So I'll count the number of subscribers who've written Yegon. Then at the end of the day, I know how I'm going to reward you in a special way. So that is the only way you can help us grow. As we grow, you people are also growing in the content. You're also growing in the kind of information that you get from this channel. So from this end, I just have to say thank you, thank you, thank you so much for your continued support. And I ask you never to tire. Keep on giving us this support that we really need. So unless somebody is having something from this end, before we wind it up, I'll start with you, Jeff.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leo, for the opportunity. I always enjoy coming to the show here because I'm given a chance to air my views. And I want to encourage all our viewers to continue supporting Africa 24. This is a good TV where we come and be educated and also say what we have in mind. We do this because we love our nation, Kenya. Kenya is a good place. Kenya is a good nation, and that is home. So regardless of where you are, in any part of the world, so long as you come from Kenya, you should continue supporting and praying for the nation of Kenya, our politicians. Thank you so much so far because you are showing that you embrace unity. Slowly by slowly, we can see the political temperatures are going down, which is a good thing for the economy of our nation. God bless you and God do you good. We love you. We cherish your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Mzalendo, anything to add on that?
I have nothing to add. You guys have made my evening today. We had a wonderful show. Just make sure you keep on time. You remind us when the show is there, Mr. Leo. I don't see your reminders on my page, so please keep on reminding me when the show is there, so that we can jump in and share our views on the particular issues. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again tomorrow, same time.
Thank you so much, and welcome.
Join us every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a captivating journey into the world of love, relationships, and romance, presented by the dynamic trio Maggie Knox, MC Jessie, and Annie Wawero. Bed of Roses promises to be your weekly dose of heartwarming stories, insightful discussions, and expert advice on matters of the heart. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or simply love a good love story, this is the show for you. Don't miss out on the chance to unwind and indulge in the joys and challenges of love, all brought to you by our talented hosts. Tune into Africa 24 every Friday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and let us guide you through the enchanting world of Bed of Roses. Subscribe now and mark your calendars. You don't want to miss this. See you there.